At the start of the drama, we are shown the male lead's mom, Julia, who is getting preparations done at home for her husband's birthday. Then we see the male lead, Aslan, who is returning to Izmir on an airplane. We see that the female lead is also on the same airplane, whose name is Devon. She is taking a disposable glass in her hand and punching it, which disturbs Aslan. Therefore, he calls out to Devon and tells her to stop. So Devon starts hitting her mobile on the chair. Seeing this, Aslan smiles. After this, we see Aslan outside the airport. He's about to sit in his car when he sees Devon, who is anxiously waiting for a taxi. Aslan goes to her and offers her a lift, so Devon gets into the car with him. Aslan asks her, "Where do you have to go?" She says, "Hospital." Then he asks her name and also introduces himself. "I am Aslan." Devon says, "I am Devon." Then, upon reaching the hospital, Devon thanks Aslan and leaves. Aslan drives a little further, then comes back and goes inside the hospital, where he sees Devon hitting a girl in a room. People in the room are trying to stop her. After a little while, Aslan sees her lovingly caressing that girl and starting to come out, so Aslan also quickly gets into his car. Just then, Devon also gets in the car. After this, Aslan sees that she has fallen asleep in the car. Now Aslan doesn't know her destination, so he takes her with him. After this, we see Aslan at the seashore talking business with his uncle. There, in the car, Devon's eyes open, and looking around, she gets out of the car. There, Aslan says to his uncle, "I warn you, don't interfere in my matters, and I will not interfere in your matters." On which, the uncle gets angry at Aslan. Aslan angrily hits the table with his hand, breaking it. Then, glaring angrily at his uncle, he comes out from there, where Devon is watching him. She is shocked to see blood coming from his hand. Aslan asks her, "Are you hungry?" After this, we see them both eating food. Aslan has already bandaged his hand. Then, after eating, they both come and sit by the sea. Devon tells him, "My sister Yagmur is either involved in fights or in drugs. Last night, someone called and told me that her condition was critical, so I got very scared that she might have died. That's why I don't know how I got from the plane to the hospital. You can see how much I love her," Devon says. Then, readjusting the bandage on his hand, Devon says, "Strong love is like poison. We behave badly with each other, even though we love each other very much. She is the only one in my family, so I feel this way for her." Then Devon asks, "How is your family?" Aslan says, "Normal." Then, while going back to the car, Aslan tells her, "Today is my father's birthday." So Devon says, "Congratulations." Then she asks him to click a photo of her and him. Then, when she is looking at the picture, she gets a message that makes her worried. Aslan, seeing the message, also tells her to leave quickly. After this, they come to Devon's sister's house. There is a knock on the door, so Aslan breaks the door and goes inside. Inside the house, he sees a girl lying on the floor who has taken pills. Devon is shocked to see her sister like this. Aslan calls out to her, but she doesn't hear him. After this, Aslan picks up Yagmur and takes her to the hospital in the car. In the hospital, Devon cries badly and blames herself. Aslan tells her, "Don't do this. She will regain consciousness now. Believe me." Devon comes close to him and starts crying, so Aslan hugs her to comfort her. Meanwhile, we see Mrs. Julia, who is making Aslan's favorite dish. Just then, Aslan's brother Jihan arrives. The whole family is meeting him, but we see that Mrs. Julia is not happy to see Jihan. She doesn't even talk to him, just stands there silently. On the other side, in the hospital, the doctor tells Devon, "We have washed Yagmur's stomach. She is better now." Then we see Devon talking to Yagmur. She tries to comfort her sister. Aslan is standing outside watching both of them. His driver, Sathi, comes and says, "You are getting late for dinner." But Aslan says, "I can't leave Devon like this." Meanwhile, at home, Grandma also comes to the dinner table. Then we see everyone is dancing. Jihan meets Grandma. Then Grandma asks about her son Yusuf, and she is told he will be late due to work. Then everyone sits at the table. Just then, Mrs. Julia gets a call from Aslan's uncle, who asks about Aslan and says, "He came to me this morning. There was a beautiful girl with him." Hearing this, Mrs. Julia is shocked. Then she calls Aslan's driver and asks who tells her the whole situation. Therefore, Mrs. Julia comes to the table and tells everyone to have dinner. Aslan will not be joining us. Meanwhile, Devon asks Aslan, "You had to go to dinner?" Aslan says, "Your condition was such that I couldn't leave you and go." So Devon starts to smile. At the table, Grandma starts blaming Aslan's mother, that is Mrs. Julia, saying that because of her, Yusuf did not come here. She has never cared for the family, only gave her children money, never took care of them. Hearing all this, Mrs. Julia angrily says to Grandma, "Their father and your son will not come because he is dead. He committed suicide by shooting himself." We see that everyone there gets sad and goes to their rooms. Only Only Mrs. Hulya is sitting at the table. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Aslan brings coffee for Devon. Devon looks at him and thanks him for his help, and then rests her head on Aslan's shoulder and falls asleep. After some time, Devon's eyes open, and Aslan is not there. Aslan had covered her with his coat before leaving, so Devon starts to smile. Then we see Aslan, who has come to his house. Mrs. Hulya is still sitting at the table, so Aslan sits next to her, but Mrs. Hulya sees him and gets up and leaves from there. Then we see Aslan eating food. In the next scene, we see Devon talking to one of her patients. She is a psychologist. Then we see Devon at her house, where she finds his card in Aslan's coat. After this, she researches Aslan on the internet and finds out about Aslan's dad, Yusuf, that he was a famous businessman but had committed suicide. Then she looks into his family and sees that Aslan is his dad's youngest son. She sees that their business is mostly online casino clubs and hotels, etc. After his father's passing, Aslan is handling all the business. Just then, Yagmur comes and starts teasing Devon for researching Aslan. So Devon tells her to go to her room. As Yagmur is leaving, she says, "I think you have fallen in love with Aslan." In the next scene, we see Aslan eating at his hotel. Just then, someone tells him, "A lady is calling you outside." When Aslan goes outside and looks, it is Devon, who has brought his coat after getting it dry cleaned. Aslan is happy to see her. He asks her about Yagmur. How is she now? So she says, "She is fine. We are living together." Then Devon thanks him while giving him the coat. Aslan asks her to meet on the weekend. Devon agrees upon his insistence. In the next scene, Aslan is waiting for Devon outside her house. Just then, she gets ready and comes out. Aslan starts smiling seeing her, so Devon asks, "Why are you smiling? Do I look over the top?" So Aslan says, "No, you look very pretty." After this, a restaurant scene is shown. Devon, while waiting for food, looks outside where some marriage event is happening. The bride and groom are dancing. Aslan, seeing her looking outside, takes her to that event. After this, they meet everyone there and congratulate them. Then, in the wedding hall, they don't find a place to sit, so they both sit with some children. Where a little girl asks, "Are you from the groom's side or the bride's side?" Devon says, "From the bride's side." So the child says, "Are you two married?" Aslan says, "I am not interested in marriage, and your Aunt Devon loves me and wants to get married. In fact, she wants us to have many children, but I don't want to get into all this right now." Devon says, "Aunt?" Aslan says, "In this whole conversation, you only found the word aunt strange?" Devon says, "I will deal with you." The little girl says, "I think you two are making up," and says to Aslan, "You want to marry her?" Devon says, "Yes, he has proposed to me for marriage, but I have rejected him. He can't even live without me." Aslan says, "What?" Devon says, "You started it, now you deal with it." Both start smiling. Then after the meal, both dance with everyone. After this, both are sitting and drinking. Aslan asks her, "Can I ask you something?" Devon says, "Of course." Aslan, smiling, says, "You are a little crazy. I don't understand how you work as a psychologist." Hearing this, Devon says, "Can I ask you something?" Aslan says, "Yes." So she asks, "Why should I go to a psychologist? Am I crazy?" Aslan says, "Not at all. But suppose if I come to you for treatment, how will you treat me?" Devon says, "You want me to treat you right now? What is your zodiac sign?" Aslan says, "What does this have to do with astrology? But I will not come to you for treatment. You are very tough." Devon says, "I will only ask a few questions." Aslan says, "If you get a chance to ask me one question, what would you want to ask?" Devon says, "What is your relationship with your mom like?" Aslan says, "A very good relationship." Then he extends his hand towards Devon, which she takes and stands up. After this, both dance and kiss each other. Then we see them both in the car, where Aslan feels something and starts driving fast, which makes Devon ask him to stop the car, and she gets out of the car. Aslan says, "There would have been a traffic jam there, that's why I came out quickly." But Devon says, "If some people had attacked our car with pistols, I couldn't even blame you because you didn't tell me anything about yourself and also lied about your family." Aslan says, "You are exaggerating the matter." Devon says, "We were about to die a little while ago, and you are talking about a traffic jam." Aslan says, "When did I lie to you about my family?" She says, "Aslan, where should I start? You said you have an ordinary family. Your relationship with your mom is good." Aslan says, "Oh, so you are investigating me," and then tells her, "The weather is getting bad, we should go." Then he drops her home. It's raining, so he asked her to stay in the car. Devon says, "Documentaries have been made about your family and you are a quite famous person." Aslan says, "Now you are crossing the limit." She says, "You want everyone to just bow before you, but I cannot bow before you, and I am sorry that your dad committed suicide, and I think you also regret it. It might be that the burden of the whole family is on your shoulders, you are tired, but still, I don't allow you to behave like this with others." She then starts to leave. Aslan says, "Miss Devon, where are you going?" "My treatment is still pending." He says, "It's not just me who lied to you, you have also lied to me." Then he says something about her family that leaves Devon speechless. She angrily hits his nose with her head and leaves from there. Then Aslan gets out of the car. He sees that someone in a car is keeping an eye on him, so Aslan goes and hits him. Then we see Aslan at his den, where his companions torture that man and ask, "Who sent you?" He doesn't say anything. Aslan unlocks his phone. In it, Aslan sees a picture of himself and Devon. Then he sees Mrs. Hulya's number, seeing which he understands everything. In the next scene, he kisses Mrs. Hulya, that is, his mom, on the cheeks and says, "We will have dinner together tonight." In the next scene, we see Aslan at Devon's house. They both are talking. Aslan tells her, "5 years ago, my dad attempted suicide. My dad never gave me love, but I always wanted him to talk to me lovingly once, but this wish of mine was not fulfilled. But I loved him very much." Then, while drinking, he says sorry to her and explains, "We both are in the same phase. We both have grown up alone. If we get together, maybe we will harm each other. But I know one thing. You are a fight I can never win. But still, if you give me a chance, I'll be thankful. Tomorrow, I want to take you to a place where you will understand me better." Devon refuses, but Aslan leaves from there without listening to her. In the next scene, Aslan is waiting for Devon outside her house. After waiting for a long time, Devon finally comes. Then Aslan brings her to his house. He introduces Devon in front of his family. Devon meets everyone one by one. Aslan says to Mrs. Hulya, "You wanted to meet Devon, you should have told me. What was the need to send a man for this?" Devon extends her hand for a handshake with Mrs. Hulya, but she holds Devon's face and says, "You are very beautiful." Devon thanks her. Then everyone has dinner together. After this, Aslan says, "Let me introduce you to my family. This is Tolga, our son-in-law, Grandma Seher, Mummy Hulya, Sister Layla, Seylan, Kaya, and Zeynep." Then Mrs. Hulya asks, "Daughter, how are your mummy and papa? What do they do?" Aslan says, "Mummy, why are you asking about their work?" She says, "I just asked to make conversation. It's not necessary to answer." Devon says, "My mother doesn't work. She has bipolar disorder. I meet my father only when necessary. He is a children's doctor. After my mother, he remarried. Now he has a son. Maybe he loves him, but he could never love me and Yağmur. Yağmur is my younger sister. She has borderline personality disorder. A short while ago, she attempted suicide, but now she's fine and lives with me. That's it. This is my family." Then Devon asks Mrs. Hulya, "What do you do, Mrs. Hulya?" She says, "Besides managing the house, I work in a foundation that takes care of orphan children." Devon says, "Yes, I've heard about it. It does very good work." Mrs. Hulya says, "Thank you." She then says to Devon, "Tomorrow we have our conference there. If you can come, I would be very happy. We'll get to know each other better." Aslan says, "She can't come. She has work tomorrow." Devon says, "Aslan, I can answer my own questions. Thank you very much. I will definitely come tomorrow, Madam Hulya." Then, on the way back, Devon asks Aslan, "Why were you answering on my behalf?" He says, "I was speaking to protect you. Mummy can be very boring sometimes." Devon says, "If Mummy is so irritating, then why did you introduce me to her? From now on, don't answer on my behalf, please. I can give my own answers." In the next scene, we see Devon at Mrs. Hulya's conference, where she says a few things. Mrs. Hulya tells her, "I asked Aslan to invite you to dinner. When I was young, I also had a simple, humble life. Then I met Yusuf, fell in love, and became a soykan. I have paid a high price for this family. Now my biggest dream is for Aslan to get married, settle down soon, and be a little more settled. Don't get me wrong, I don't need to advise you, but still, be careful, daughter. You only meet some people twice. Aslan is one of them. In the beginning, everything is beautiful. He takes you to the sky. You feel like you are among the stars. Then one day you open your eyes, the stars are gone, and you are standing alone in the dark. I also have 2 daughters, so I have to think from the heart. I feel you are close to me. You are not at all like the other women who have come into Aslan's life. I know you won't misunderstand. That's why I'm saying, don't get lost in his glamour and end up in the dark like the other women. I will always listen to you and support you." Devon says, "Thank you very much, Madam Hulya. You say very nice things. I wish every boy's mother was as thoughtful as you. Because of my job, I sometimes see things that are unbelievable. People obsessed with their sons can't even sleep for fear that someone might snatch their son away. But thank God, you are not that kind of mother. Thank you for your advice, Madam Hulya. Thank you very much. Sorry, my session is about to start, so I'll leave now." In the next scene, we see Aslan with Mrs. Hulya. She tells him, "Devon cannot adjust in your life or in our family." But Aslan says, "I can take her anywhere in my society. She can even come to our family table. We have decided to marry very quickly." In the next scene, Devon calls Aslan to meet. Aslan is with his companion. He tells him, "Go to the mall and bring some things." In the next scene, we see Devon waiting for Aslan on the road when she sees him on a boat. She asks him to come out, but Aslan tells her, "No, you have to come on the boat." Devon then talks to him on the boat. "We are going too fast in our relationship. Sick people like us cannot not be happy together. Then Aslan takes her to a party. They are both enjoying themselves there when Devon gets a call from her stepmother, so she goes to the side. Her stepmother asks her to come to her dad's birthday. We will celebrate together. Maybe you want to say sorry to your dad. Devon asks, what do you mean by that? So she says, this way you can also get close to your brother Jan. And if you want, you can bring shoes for your dad as a gift because he is taking an interest in golf these days. Hearing all this, Devon's mood gets spoiled. After this, she goes to the party and starts drinking non-stop. Seeing her like this, Aslan comes to her. He asks her the reason, so Devon tells him everything. Aslan asks her, then what did you say in the end? Devon says, I said I will come. Do you think I would miss this opportunity? So Aslan says, all right, we will both go there. Devon says, why would you go there? He says, I want to be around you so that you get used to being with me. By the way, you had to talk to me about something. Devon says, no. Then Aslan plays her favorite music and then everyone starts dancing there. In the next scene, Aslan makes a business deal with his host. Explaining his project, he says, I want to create an internet platform here. To which he says, I am with you. I also want to make a deal with you. Here in Turkey, people want to watch movies based on mafia, drugs, and crimes. So I want to make a movie on your Soykan family so that people get to know Yusuf, that is, your dad. But hearing this, Aslan gets very angry. He tells him, as long as I am alive, no one can make a film about him. And then he takes Devon and leaves from there. Outside, Devon tells him, your friend has upset you. But Aslan, flirting with her, says, look at the stars and the moon too. Such a beautiful girl is in front of me, so how can anyone upset me? Then he kisses her on the cheek. Now in the boat, Devon looks at him and messages, is your house nearby? So Aslan takes her to his guest house. Then he brings water for Devon. Just then, he sees Devon in a red dress, which shocks him because she's looking very beautiful and attractive. In the next scene, we see them on the bed. Devon says, you forced me to make such mistakes. Aslan smiles and kisses her on the forehead. He says, from today, we will make such mistakes together. Then, looking at the moon outside, Aslan asks Devon, will you marry me? Devon, in her sleep, says to him, no. The next morning, when Devon's eyes open, Aslan is not there. She goes downstairs to look for him, and he calls her for breakfast. Then, while eating, Aslan tells her, we should break up. I don't know if we are a couple yet or not, so it's better for us to break up right now. Hearing his words, Devon gets angry and says, but you were going to propose to me last night. Aslan says, I have had many such affairs, but I don't want to have any such relationship with you because you are important to me. So I don't want to trouble you. Devon gets up and goes into the room. Aslan comes after her. Then she changes her dress and comes out and tells him, you have no right to make decisions for me. Aslan tries to explain to her, but she doesn't listen to him. So Aslan tells her, on the boat yesterday, you came to tell me the same thing, so why are you overreacting so much? Devon becomes silent and leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Aslan with Grandma. She asks Aslan about Devon. Aslan is shocked that Grandma remembers Devon's name. Grandma says, I can't forget those I love. Have you met her parents? Next time, invite her parents to our home. I want you to be happy. That girl is beautiful and tall too. Your children with her will also be beautiful. Aslan starts to smile at her words. Grandma says, don't let that girl slip through your fingers. In the next scene, Mrs. Julia is with Aslan. She asks him about Devon. She hasn't said anything against me, has she? Aslan says, she likes you a lot. Don't worry so much about her. She will come for dinner again. So Mrs. Julia says, the table of my house is not for everyone. You should only invite the one to the house whom you want to marry. Aslan says, how are you so sure that I will not marry her? She says, because I feel she is not suitable for you. In the next scene, Devon is at her home. Just then, Yagmur drops a dish and it breaks. Devon, worrying about her, starts scolding her. Yagmur gets sad and says, I will leave from here soon because I can't see you worried anymore. And then, remembering something, she says, wish Dad a happy birthday from my side. I had messaged him, but he didn't reply. I want to talk to him, but maybe he doesn't want to, so please convey my congratulations to him. Devon gets sad from her words. On the other side, Aslan, while going somewhere, remembers the time spent with Devon and thinks of her dad's birthday. Meanwhile, Devon is at her dad's house. She is sitting at the table with her dad. Just then, Aslan arrives there, which shocks Devon. He has brought a golf club for her dad and wishes him a happy birthday. Devon's stepmother tells her, you should have told us about Aslan. Aslan says, Devon was telling me not to come, but I thought I should come. The stepmother says, by the way, how did you meet our girl? We are a little surprised because Devon runs away from relationships. Aslan says, she couldn't run away from me because we met on a plane. The stepmother smiles. Then Devon's dad asks Aslan about his job. Aslan says, I have a construction business. The dad asks, are you Yusuf Sarkin's son? Aslan says yes. He says, his death must have troubled your family. Aslan says, you are probably talking about his suicide. It excited us a lot. So he says, now you must have understood that it is not easy to live without a father. Aslan says, the one who dies is dead, but some people are dead even while being alive. Then the stepmother asks Devon about her mom. Devon says, she is fine. Then the stepmother tells her dad, we will talk about the house after dinner. Devon says, oh, so that's why you called me here? Who are you to talk about the house where my mom lives? The dad scolds Devon, she is my wife. You cannot be rude to her. So Devon says, she is my mom. You cannot kick her out of that house. A lot of arguments happen there. The dad supports his second wife, so Devon fights a lot with him. The dad asks her to leave the house. You, your sister, and your mom have always been a source of trouble for me. You three were born alone and troubled, and you will die alone too. Hearing this, Aslan can't bear it anymore. He tells them to be quiet and sends the stepmother to the room from there. Aslan says, I don't interfere in family matters, but you both are doing wrong. He tells Devon's dad, think if something happened to you, you understand what I mean? Maybe you have also loved someone. My mind, my heart, my entire feelings are only for her. I don't understand anything else. But a few days ago I proposed to her, but she refused me. I don't need to get married, I just want Devon. But still I want to marry her so that we can be happy together. And as long as I'm alive, I will always be with Devon. Devon, hearing all this, looks at Aslan shockingly. Then Aslan says, happy birthday, and leaves from there. After he leaves, the dad says, you brought him to scare me? Devon looks at him and smiles, and then starts to go after Aslan. By then, Aslan has left in his car. Devon is running after him. Just then, Aslan stops the car. Devon tells him to get out of the car. Aslan says, I need your answer. If you don't answer, this notebook will close without ever being opened. Aslan is saying something to her, but Devon doesn't listen to him. She says, will you marry me? Aslan looks at her shockingly. Devon tells him, give me an answer. So Aslan says, get in the car, let's talk in the car. Devon says, I will only get in the car when you give your answer. Aslan says, you're talking about marrying me just to win against your father. Devon says, no, I really want to get married. I am serious about my proposal. We will just put 2 signatures on a piece of paper, that's all. Aslan says, it's not that simple, dear. We are both a little crazy. Okay, look at me. Then he holds Devon's hand. When will you look at me like this, eye to eye, from the heart, without any questions, without getting angry, without fighting? If you say from the depths of your heart, Aslan, let's get married, then the deal is done from my side too. But everything has a time, and I won't wait much longer. Just then, Aslan gets a call. He picks up the phone and says, Ceylan, what happened? He is shocked by what he's told. His grandma is missing from home. Aslan tells her, I am coming there right now. Devon asks, what happened? Aslan says, Grandma is missing from home. Devon says, I will go with you. Maybe I can help with something. At home, the maid is saying, I got Grandma ready and went to the bathroom. When I came back, she was nowhere. After this, everyone starts looking for Grandma. On the way, Devon sees some flowers fallen. So she follows the flowers and sees Grandma standing on one side, dropping flowers one by one. She is at a height. The road is far below her. Seeing this, Devon gets scared. She slowly goes close to Grandma and calls out to her, Grandma. She looks at her and says, you have come, daughter? Devon says, yes, I have come. Grandma says, look how this little bird flies. She is about to jump from that height. Devon stops her. Grandma says, did I pluck the flowers, my dear daughter? And your favorite flowers too. Devon says, yes, mummy. Give them to me. Hold my hand. After thinking for a long time, Grandma holds Devon's hand. She says, I missed you a lot. So Devon says, I missed you a lot too. By then, everyone else also reaches there. Devon holds Grandma and hugs her. After this, we see the scene inside the house. Aslan's uncle says, Mother, you scared us. Then he says to Devon, thank you, daughter. May God be pleased with you. Devon starts smiling. Then, while leaving, the uncle says to Mrs. Hulya, if this happens again, I won't be so calm, Hulya. Remember this. Mrs. Hulya says, what are you saying? If she were with you, Mummy would probably be in some old age home. The uncle says, at least there would be protection there. Then he says to Aslan, Mother is a trust of mine with you, Aslan. Take care of her now. Aslan says, you can leave safely from here. Then the mom says to Ceylan, take your grandma, give her a bath, and put her to sleep. Then Layla says to Devon, I'll bring you clean clothes. Devon says, no, there's no need. So Mrs. Hulya says, I'll give them to her. Come, daughter, I'll look for a dress for you. In the next scene, when Devon comes after changing her dress, Aslan says, weren't there Layla's clothes? Because she is wearing Mrs. Hulya's dress. Devon says, why, does this look bad? He says, no, I was just saying. Mrs. Hulya says, now let daughter Devon rest for a bit. Son, come and sit. Then she says, thank you from our family. Devon says, if my help was of any use, then I am happy. Mrs. Hulya says, you handled Grandma very well. Otherwise, we were scared what would have happened if her foot had slipped. Devon smiles. Mrs. Hulya says, this will be the last time. Now you won't have to get involved in any of our family's issues. Layla says, why? After marriage, she has to come here anyway. Mrs. Julia says, it's only been a few days since they met. But Devon says, Madam Julia, I didn't understand what you said. She says, I mean, you guys have just met, so you might not get married right now. Devon says, by luck, I proposed to Aslan today. Everyone starts smiling hearing this. After this, Aslan goes to drop Devon home. Devon asks him, why is Grandma so upset? Your relationship with one of your brothers is not good. Jihan is his name? Aslan says, he is just a painful part of our family. But since the matter is out, I am telling you. If he ever finds you and comes to you, tell me without thinking. Devon says, what do you think? Should we go for coffee somewhere? But Aslan refuses. Hey, it's raining. Let's make a plan for another day, okay? Devon says, okay, I'll send the clothes to the dry cleaners tomorrow. Aslan says, Mummy's clothes? There's no hurry. Devon says, I want to introduce you to my friends. If you want, we can have a great program. Aslan says, absolutely, I have no issue. So Devon says, okay, good night. She kisses Aslan on the cheek and goes inside her house. Next day, Mrs. Julia asks Aslan, is this girl pregnant? Aslan says, Mom, what is your problem? She says, she suddenly came into your life. Her family is not that great either, and you liked her so much that you are ready to marry her. If she is not pregnant, then is she after your wealth? Aslan says, Mom, please don't think everyone is the same. Mrs. Julia says, okay, I will get the contract papers ready. Aslan says, Mummy, what is this plan now? You think this girl will not sign the contract, and we will break up. That's what you're thinking, right? Mrs. Julia says, I don't have any plans, son. There is a price to be paid to become a part of the Soykan family. You know this very well too. This is our family rule, tell her. She will surely understand. In the next scene, Aslan's brother Jihan comes to Devon's clinic. After talking to him, Devon understands that this is Aslan's brother Jihan, so she asks him to leave from there. In the next scene, Devon is with a friend of hers, with whom she discusses Jihan's visit to the clinic, whether she should tell Aslan about it or not. Her friend says, what kind of mentality does Aslan have? I would suggest that you don't tell him about Jihan's visit for now. Then Devon tells him, yesterday when he came to drop me off, I was in his mother's dress, that's why he didn't even kiss me. Her friend smiling says, because he was seeing his mother in you. In the next scene, we see Aslan with Devon and her friends, where they enjoy a lot. After this, Aslan takes them all to a club. Aslan is feeling a little down, so Devon plays his favorite music to cheer him up, and then starts dancing. Aslan says, you are a terrible girl. So she says, that's why you like me. Just then, Aslan sees his brother-in-law Tolga with another girl, which makes him angry. Devon also sees Tolga. Then, when Tolga is about to kiss that girl, Aslan's patience ends. He starts to go towards him. Devon tries to stop him, but Aslan doesn't stop. He goes and beats Tolga a lot. Devon is shocked to see Aslan like this. Then Devon's friends take her with them. Then Aslan is in his guest house. Devon also goes there, where Aslan's condition is very bad. Devon cleans the blood from his face and tries to comfort him. She says, I am with you even after knowing everything, and I will always be with you. But Tolga's infidelity with your sister was your sister's problem. You should not have gotten involved in it. She must have known about her husband's affairs. How can he disgrace your family like this? But you did not do well by hitting him. Aslan says, I guarantee you, I will protect you from myself and my family, no matter what happens. I love you. These feelings will provide you protection from me. Devon smiles and kisses his forehead and tells him to sleep. The next day, when Aslan's eyes open, he sees that Devon has prepared breakfast for him, which Aslan eats and gives Devon 10 points. So Devon gets happy and says, what do you think? Shouldn't we get married? Aslan says, of course, dear. Then, while leaving, Aslan gives Devon the key to the house and says, I will meet you in the evening. Then he kisses her and is about to leave but stops at the door and looks at Devon. Devon asks, what happened? So he says, nothing. Just looking at my future wife. Devon smiles. He says, you are truly amazing. In the next scene, when Devon arrives at the office, Mrs. Julia is waiting for her there. She talks to her about Tolga. I am sorry that this whole incident happened in front of you. Actually, Tolga is not a bad person, but becoming a Soykan is not an easy thing either. Devon says, I have had a good talk with Aslan about this, so there is no problem. Then she says, Aslan must have told you about our family's rules. Devon says, no, we haven't talked about it because we talk about things that make us happy, not things that sadden us. Then Mrs. Julia says, I want to meet your mom and sister. Devon says, okay, my sister lives with me. She is fine now. Then Devon asks Mrs. Julia about Jihan. Mrs. Julia gets shocked and says, every family has a black sheep. In our family, Jihan is the black sheep. I request you, if he ever comes to you, don't tell Aslan about it. Inform me. I will handle him. Devon says, thank you, but I don't want to hide anything from Aslan. I am waiting for the right time. Mrs. Julia says, you know Aslan too well. Devon says, no, I know myself. Then while leaving, Mrs. Julia asks her, why did you choose psychology as your profession? Devon says, I want to save people from the hatred of their own family members. Mrs. Hulya smiles and leaves from there. In the next scene, when Aslan comes home, Layla slaps him. Just then, her son comes there who doesn't understand anything. He looks at his dad, who has many bandages on his face. Layla takes her son from there. After this, Aslan talks to Mrs. Hulya about the agreement made for Devon. Do you think she will sign it? He says, Mom, I request you to leave me and Devon alone. You have this fear, right, that someone will come and snatch your power from you? That will never happen. Then he shows her a picture of herself. Look, when you got married, you were very simple. I even have an objection to Dad's decision. If he had raised his voice against these Soykan laws back then, this time would never have come. Now leave what has passed. But I want to keep Devon away from all these laws and regulations, because Devon cannot survive the conditions you have suffered from. Then Aslan calls the lawyer and gets the entire agreement changed. In the next scene, we see Aslan cooking in the kitchen. Just then, Devon comes there, so Aslan hides that agreement in the cabinet. Then he comes out, and they both hug and welcome each other. Then Devon says, I have to tell you something. Aslan says, you don't want to break up with me again, do you? She smiles and says, no. Then they start getting romantic. Just then, Devon's phone starts ringing. She goes to the kitchen and sees many messages and calls from Jihan. He has written, this is my number. Think about me and inform me. Seeing this, Devon gets a little shocked. Then, while opening the wine bottle, her eyes fall on that agreement file. She is shocked after reading them and goes and talks to Aslan about it. Aslan says, I got this agreement ready to protect you. But Devon gets very angry. Aslan tries to explain to her, but she doesn't listen to him. She says, who said I need someone else's protection? I know how to protect myself. Aslan says, I want to save you from my family. Devon says, no, you want to turn me into a ghost so that I am not visible to anyone. Aslan says, I can't see you becoming like my mom. So she says, yes, this is your fear, but I am not like your mom. And now I don't even know what I am to you. Then she leaves from there. The next day, Aslan calls Devon, but she doesn't pick up. Then Devon comes to her office, where Jihan has come as a patient. Devon tells him, I am warning you. If you come here again without an appointment, I will throw you out of here. Jihan gets happy that Devon is ready to treat him. Then Jihan tells her an incident. In my childhood, when I was 9 to 10 years old, we had gone to the village to spend our vacation. We used to go out for a walk in the evening. On the other side, we see Aslan, who has come outside Devon's clinic. Meanwhile, Jihan says, we brothers were playing and coming back home, but Aslan didn't feel like going home, so he climbed a tree like a cat and sat there. I tried to convince him a lot, but he wasn't listening to my words, so I lay down under the tree. After a little while, Aslan woke me up and told me that he was hungry. I saw that it was dark there. I told Aslan to run from there because the village was quite far. Here at home, everyone was looking for us. When we reached near the house, I saw my mom outside and took Aslan to her. Mom looked at me and then at Aslan. She hugged Aslan tightly. Devon asks, what happened next? Just then, we see outside that Aslan has come inside the clinic. Jihan says, I thought it was my turn now, so I opened my arms for Mom to hug me too. Just then, Mom came to me and hit me so hard on my back with a rod that I fell down. She hit me again. Outside, Devon's receptionist sees Aslan and stops him from going inside because he was about to go into Devon's office. Hearing his voice, Devon also comes out of the office. She asks him, why have you come here? So he says, I wanted to meet you. But Devon says, I don't want to hear anything from you. I am busy with my patient's session, so you should leave from here. Aslan says, I need to talk about us. But Devon says, there is nothing between us now, and closes the door. Aslan also gets a call from someone, so he leaves from there. Then Devon tells Jihan, today's session is complete. Now, you can also go. In the next scene, Aslan tells Mrs. Hulya, I know your intentions regarding Devon, that you want us to break up. But let me tell you one thing. I love Devon very much, and you can't stop us even if you want to. So kindly don't interfere in our matters. In the next scene, Devon is at a bar. A man sees them and informs Aslan. Devon drinks a lot there. Just then, Aslan arrives. Devon sees him and says, do you want to fight with me? Then let's go. Then they both get in the car, where Devon asks him, what is your problem with me now? She starts crying. Aslan wipes her tears. Aslan says, I can't forget you. Devon says, I am tired of acting strong. I want to be happy. You are testing my patience. Aslan then smiles and says, your style of fighting is very good. So Devon also starts laughing. The next morning, Devon tears up that agreement in front of Aslan. Then Devon tells him some of her conditions, which Aslan agrees to. Then Aslan says, now we will get married very soon. Devon says, where will we live after marriage? So Aslan says, we will change the meeting of this guest house and build our house here. In the next scene, Aslan tells everyone in his house about his marriage. I want to get married next week. His sisters are very happy, but Mrs. Hulya is shocked by this news. Meanwhile, Devon tells her mom and Yagmur about her marriage. So they also get happy and start talking about preparations. Then Devon gets a message from Jihan. He has come for the session, so Devon goes to the office where Jihan tells Devon, "After talking to you, I was able to sleep well after a long time. This is proof that there is something special about your session, so now I feel I will recover soon." Devon tells him about her and Aslan's marriage, so Jihan gets happy. He says, "What will happen to our sessions after the marriage?" So Devon says, "Even after marriage, my patients will be my first priority." After this, Jihan narrates an incident with his mom. "Once I was playing in the ground, a boy pushed me, and I fell. So I angrily hit that boy, which started a fight between us. A boy picked up a stone and hit me, due to which I fell down." Devon asks, "So how was this your happiest moment?" So he says, "When I regained consciousness, Mom was in front of me. It was dark there, so Mom said, 'Jihan, are you dead?' She put her hand on my chest. There was blood all over my shoulder and neck. Then Mom hugged me tightly. That moment was very special. I wanted that time to stop right there. I pretended that I was dead." Then Devon says, "You would never have acted dead if your mom loved you." Meanwhile, Mrs. Julia is with her friends. Just then, she receives a picture message in which Jihan is seen leaving Devon's clinic. After this, Mrs. Julia calls Aslan and says, "I want you to invite your uncle and your brother to the wedding so that no one feels that we are separate." Aslan doesn't agree at first, but on his mom's insistence, he agrees. In the next scene, Aslan is at Jihan's restaurant. Jihan is shocked to see him. Aslan talks to Jihan very nicely and asks him to come to the wedding, to which Jihan happily says, "This is not Mom's doing. Your wife must have convinced you." Aslan says, "It doesn't matter. Just don't create any problem." Jihan thanks him. In the next scene, Devon is sleeping when her eyes open to the sound of a drum outside. She looks out the window and sees Aslan there with his companions and drummers. They are all dancing. Yagmur also gets excited seeing all this. She tells Devon to get ready. Then Devon gets ready and comes down, and Aslan dances with Devon. Both are very happy. After this, we are shown a scene of Aslan's house, where they have made wedding arrangements at home. When Devon arrives there, everyone welcomes her very well. Now they are happily dancing. But we see Mrs. Julia looking very serious. Mrs. Julia introduces Devon to her friends. They all praise her. Just then, Devon tells Mrs. Julia, "I have already talked to Aslan. Even after marriage, my surname will remain Icon." Hearing this, Mrs. Julia is shocked. Meanwhile, we see Aslan getting ready for the wedding. Just then, his sister Layla comes to him. Aslan apologizes to her for the Tolga issue. She also apologizes to Aslan because she had also slapped Aslan. She then kisses Aslan on the cheek and says, "Next time, you will not interfere in my issues, and I will not interfere in your issues. I am very happy with your decision, and I want you to live a good life with Devon." Aslan thanks her and hugs her, saying, "Your words give me strength. I love you very much." Just then, Mrs. Julia comes and talks about Devon's surname, to which Aslan says, "Yes, I have given her permission. It doesn't make any difference." But Mrs. Julia gets unhappy and leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Devon in a bridal dress. Her friends are praising her. Just then, Devon's eyes fall outside the window where Aslan is talking to his uncle. Aslan's uncle gives him a wedding gift, which is a very expensive pistol. Devon's friend tells her, "Devon, you will regret this decision. Aslan is very different from you." Then Devon angrily leaves. From there, in the next scene, Aslan comes to the room to get Devon. Seeing her as a bride, he says, "You look very beautiful." Then he takes Devon with him to the hall. After this, they both go on stage and sign the wedding papers. Then Aslan kisses Devon's forehead. Then all the guests give gifts to the bride and groom. Then everyone starts dancing to the music there. Yagmur apologizes to Devon and sings a song for her, which makes Devon a little emotional. We see Mrs. Julia talking to Jihan there. She tells him, "I know about you going to Devon's clinic." Then from their conversation, it is revealed that this is their plan. After this, Aslan gets a message which says, "Congratulations. I couldn't come to the wedding, but a gift is waiting for you near the door." Aslan immediately runs towards the door. We see a man on a bike who comes at high speed and shoots one of Aslan's companions and flees from there. Everyone there is shocked. Aslan tells that companion, "Brother, open your eyes." But he was bleeding a lot, so he had fainted. In the next scene, we see Devon with Aslan in the hospital. Aslan's companion, Ekram, has been shifted to the hospital whose condition is critical. The police also arrive there, with whom Aslan talks himself. Meanwhile, Devon is very shocked by this whole incident. Aslan also doesn't talk to her due to worry, so she's quite disturbed. Then the next morning, the doctor says that Ekram's condition is fine now, so everyone gets happy. Then Aslan tells Devon to pack her things and go to the mansion. "You will be safe there." But Devon packs her things and goes to her own house. Aslan asks his companion, Turgid, to stay with her. In the next scene, Devon is going home alone from the office. On the way, thinking about the incident at the wedding, her condition starts to worsen. She starts feeling suffocated. Just then, Turgut reaches her, so Devon asks him to drop her home. On the way, Mrs. Hulya calls Turgut for some work, so he tells her about Devon's panic attack. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Ekram regains consciousness, so Aslan is very happy to see him fine. In the next scene, Mrs. Hulya comes to Devon's house to meet her. Mrs. Hulya talks to her about the incident. Soon everything will be fine. But Devon says, "This is all new to me, so I can't feel easy thinking this." So Mrs. Hulya says, "Just as flowers always have thorns, with our power and strength, we have to get used to all this." Devon says, "Do you think I married Aslan for your family's power?" Mrs. Hulya says, "I just want you to take your belongings and shift to the mansion." But Devon flatly refuses. In the next scene, we see Devon with Aslan in a cafe, where Devon tells him, "The firing that happened at our wedding, Ekram's life could have been lost. Yagmur was also there. She could have been shot too. But you reacted as if nothing happened. You didn't even talk to me for so many days. I thought you would at least come to see me and we would go to our home. Your mom comes and tells me that their mansion is safe. I should stay there. But I don't think that place is safe." Aslan says, "I didn't understand how to react at that time. I couldn't look into your eyes, so I avoided you." Then Aslan asks her to go to the mansion, but Devon puts a condition before him. "When you find out about the person who fired at Ekram, you will do nothing. Instead, you will let the police handle it. If you promise me this, then I am ready to go with you." Aslan remains silent. So Devon says, "But you won't do that, because you don't want to clear this up at all. You have become power addicted." Then Devon leaves from there. In the next scene, Aslan goes to the man, Attila, on whom he suspects of firing at Ekram. He reaches him by helicopter because he was hiding somewhere far away. Aslan goes and talks to him. Attila gets scared seeing Aslan there. He tries to run from there, but Aslan catches him. After this, he hides Attila's face with a black cloth and starts taking him in the helicopter. Meanwhile, Devon secretly meets Jihan at her friend's clinic. She asks him about Aslan. Has he ever committed murder? Jihan says, "You are asking me a question whose answer you already know. Aslan wants to fix our matters, but that's not possible. This is the power that he doesn't want to give to anyone else. You love him, but sometimes he goes crazy." On the other side, Aslan is throwing Attila down from the helicopter. He says, "You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, but when you die, your face will be hidden in this cloth." Attila repeatedly says, "I didn't do this." So Aslan says, "I understand that you didn't do this, but you went against me. So this is all your punishment." He then throws Attila down from the helicopter. Meanwhile, Jihan tells Devon, "Your competition is with my mom, that is, Mrs. Hulya, and you will have to fight this fight. You can't run away now. So you go to the mansion and fight with Mrs. Hulya." Devon says, "Don't talk nonsense." So he says, "One day you will understand the meaning of the word soykan. Then you will remember my words. Mrs. Hulya will poison you in such a way that you won't understand anything. Then you won't even care about Aslan, whether he murders someone or not." Devon says, "All right, since we are talking so openly, I have to ask you a question, Jihan." He says, "Yes." So Devon asks, "People easily bear the loss of a father's death, even the loss of property. So why haven't you come out of the grief of your dad's death yet?" Jihan becomes silent, so Devon leaves from there. In the next scene, Yagmur tells Devon, "Dad is selling our house." Mom is very worried, so Devon goes to her mom's house where her dad is fighting with her mom. Devon tells her mom to go inside the house. The dad says, "I have sold this house." Devon says, "You can't sell this house." Meanwhile, we see Aslan with his uncle. He says, "My enemy has shot the boy whom I love like a brother. He turned my wedding into a funeral too, and that man knew that my suspicion would fall on Attila. That man had told Attila to run away, that Aslan would not spare you, but that man is still hiding. So now you answer me." On the other side, Devon's dad calls the party who was supposed to buy the house. Just then, that family arrives and apologizes to Devon's dad. "We will not buy this house because we have found another house we like." They say to Devon, "Convey our greetings to Mr. Aslan," and then leave from there. Devon also smiles and looks at her dad and leaves from there. There, Aslan tells his uncle, "An uncle is equal to half a father. Be thankful that your brother is not alive, and be thankful that my dad did not see this shameful face of yours." The uncle says, "Ekram got shot, and you couldn't bear it? When your mom shot my companion Kamal in the foot, why were you silent then?" Aslan says, "She did wrong." The uncle says, "But I did the right thing. I wanted to make you realize that the mansion is not safe." Aslan says, "While doing this, you forgot that your mom also lives in this house. What kind of son are you? You know very well that I will not kill you because your surname is like a bulletproof jacket for you. But don't test my patience too much. I have understood you, but you have not understood me yet. So be careful now." Then Aslan's man, Isaac, shows him a photo of the shooter. He says he is in sea livery. Just then, Aslan gets a call from Devon. So Aslan remembers Devon's words, "If you find that same killer, you will not do anything to him." Aslan gets lost in thought. In the next scene, when Devon comes to her house, she receives a parcel from Mrs. Julia. Then she gets a call from Mrs. Julia, who tells her, "Maybe you don't want to come to our house because of the incident at your wedding." Devon says, "I am not afraid of anyone." So Mrs. Julia says, "As long as you have a relationship with Aslan, this house will always welcome you. Please accept my gift." When Devon opens the box, she finds a nameplate with her name on it. Meanwhile, Mrs. Julia orders the maid for everyone to be present at tonight's dinner. In the next scene, we see Attila, who is looking at Aslan's wedding pictures, in which he sees Salon's picture and calls someone, "Add Salon's name to the list I gave you." On the other side, Aslan has come to Devon's house. He apologizes to her. "I didn't attend your call." So Devon says, "This gift was sent by your mom." So Aslan says, "Yes, my mom is very kind." Devon says, "Yes, very." Then she asks, "Did you help me?" Aslan says, "What help?" So Devon explains, "My dad had sold mom's house. I thought Yagmur had told you about it, but maybe they found out that I am the daughter-in-law of the Soykan family, so they refused to buy the house." Aslan then tells her, "Let's go to the mansion." He reminds her of her promise, "I have let that man go, just because of you." Devon gets happy. Aslan says, "We won't stay in the mansion for long. After a while, I will shift you somewhere else. Right now, my family needs me, and I need you." In the next scene, we see them both together in the mansion, where everyone is happy to see them together. Devon puts the nameplate with her name on her dinner chair. Then everyone eats together. In the next scene, Aslan is in the bedroom at night. Then he hears news on the TV, which reports that a man who had fired at Ekram has died in a factory fire in Silivri. The next morning, Devon's eyes open, and seeing Aslan next to her, she starts to kiss him, which wakes him up. Then Aslan starts getting romantic with her. Just then, Grandma's voice comes from outside, calling for Yusuf. Aslan says, "Today is Grandma's birthday, so she is looking for father." Then Devon goes to the kitchen to make coffee for herself. She is talking to the maid working there when Mrs. Julia comes there. She tells Devon to keep a distance from the maids. Devon says, "I just came to make coffee for myself." Then everyone has breakfast together, where Grandma asks Devon, "Have you met Yusuf?" Aslan says, "Yes, many times. They get along very well. They play chess together, and Devon always wins against him." Grandma says, "Today, he will come for my birthday because he didn't come for his birthday. So kiss his hand and wish him a happy birthday." Meanwhile, we see a flashback in which Yusuf Soykan was looking at letters in the study room that he had written for Aslan and Jihan. Then he sees Jihan sleeping on the sofa in front of him and shoots himself with his pistol. Jihan wakes up to the sound of the gunshot. He sees that there are bloodstains on all those letters. Then we see Jihan in the present, who was seeing all this in his dream. On the other side, after Grandma leaves, Devon says, "I shouldn't say this, but you all should tell the truth to Grandma so that she can accept her son's death." So Mrs. Julia says, "You are a psychiatrist, but you can't conduct everyone's session in a house like this." So Aslan calms his mom down and tells Devon, "We don't discuss work matters at home." Devon then starts to go to her clinic. Mrs. Julia tells her, "Your wedding gifts are about to be opened." But Devon tells her, "I will do that work later. I have a session now." Mrs. Julia says, "You can go with the driver." But Devon says, "I will drive myself. Don't you worry." Then after she leaves, Mrs. Julia tells Tolga, "You send a bride paycheck to Devon from the company." Tolga says, "Do you think this girl will take that check?" So Mrs. Julia says, "To accept it or not will be her decision. This is our family tradition." In the next scene, when Devon comes to the clinic, Jihan comes to her and shouts. He starts throwing books and things from her shelf. Devon lets him do it. Jihan says, "Your books, diplomas, everything is a trap. You deceive people with it." Devon asks, "What happened to you?" So Jihan says, "Your speech from yesterday hasn't left my mind all day. Dad came in my dream last night. I saw his letters." Devon says, "Can we sit and talk?" Meanwhile, at home, Mrs. Julia invites Devon's mom and Yagmur to the house. Meanwhile, Jihan tells Devon, "You will feel very lonely in that house. There you will be dropped from a height and you will fall. You will think Aslan is your parachute. He will save you, but it won't be like that. You won't even understand which rope to pull. Soon, Mrs. Julia will become a bad nightmare for you." On the other side, Mrs. Julia gets a call from the lawyer. He says that Devon has filed a case to use her last name after marriage instead of Soykan. Hearing this, Mrs. Julia gets very angry. She deliberately speaks in a loud voice so that Devon's mother can hear her conversation. She tells the lawyer, "This matter should not reach the media. I don't want Aslan to be further troubled." Just then, Devon's mother comes out and asks, "What happened?" Meanwhile, Devon asks Jihan about his dad's letters. Jihan says, "Dad wrote those letters for me, Aslan, and Uncle before his death. Me and Uncle have opened them, but Aslan has not opened that letter yet because he was scared." Devon says, "This fear is a normal feeling. Jihan says, I wasn't scared. I have read that entire letter. Devon asks, then what were your feelings? So Jihan says, when Dad died, I was in a lot of pain. When I read that letter, I didn't feel much. I used to drink like my dad. Dad used to be angry about this too. Then the hero of the story, that is, my dad, committed suicide for some reason. I thought my fate would be like my dad's. Devon says, nothing like that will happen. I have put my profession at risk for you, so you have to trust me. I will protect you. Jihan thanks Devon and leaves. Meanwhile, Mrs. Julia tells Devon's mom about her mistakes in her own way. Devon's mom apologizes to Mrs. Julia. Devon is ungrateful for doing this. You people treat her so well. I will definitely make her understand. Actually, she grew up without a dad. That's why she has become like this. Devon's mom likes something from the luggage, so she tells Mrs. Julia, this is from my favorite brand. So Mrs. Julia tells the maid to pack all those things for them. Meanwhile, upon reaching home, Devon gets a message from the company about a check being deposited as a bride's salary, which shocks her. Therefore, she immediately goes and asks Mrs. Julia about it. Mrs. Julia, acting, asks, is it too little? Devon says, I am not saying that. I don't need it. Mrs. Julia says, daughter, that is for your use. Just then, Aslan comes there and asks, what's the matter? Mrs. Julia explains, the company has sent a check. Aslan says, what check? Mrs. Julia says, the bride's salary check, just like Tolga gets from the company. Devon says, my own earning is enough for me, so I don't need this. I am sending this salary back. Then Aslan and Mrs. Julia have a long argument, after which Aslan goes out for dinner with Devon. Aslan has brought her to his restaurant, where they both enjoy a lot. On the other side, Silan is at a club with Yagmur, where Attila meets her because he used to talk to her on his social media account, so Silan recognizes him. Meanwhile, Aslan is doing a barbecue in front of Devon. Devon says, you hide so much from me. I can never hide anything from you. So Aslan says, all right then, you can ask me anything. Meanwhile, at that club, someone recognizes Yagmur, with whom she doesn't want to talk, so she tells Silan to leave from there. Silan was talking to Attila, but she has to go with her on Yagmur's insistence. The man who was behind Yagmur asks Attila about her. What is Kaylan Soykan doing with an escort? Attila is shocked and says, what do you mean? So he explains that Yagmur used to work as an escort in Izmir. Meanwhile, Devon really likes the food cooked by Aslan. Aslan says, now you can ask me a question. Devon asks him, don't you have friends? So he explains, I have spent half my life away from my dad. When he died, it was a dark period for me. I wanted to stay close to him, but that couldn't happen, which made me weak. So I decided that I will do whatever it takes to make myself strong. Devon asks, when your dad died, did you cry? He says, Yusuf Soykan had forbidden us from crying, that a man can never cry. When Dad died, I wanted to cry, but I felt that if I cried, Dad would come out and slap me. Devon says, you and your family have not come out of the phase of your dad's death because you people did not cry. Until that happens, you people can never be cured. Aslan says, what do you mean by properly? So she says, I mean, where you need to show an emotion, show it. If you want to scream, then scream. Don't lock yourself up. This is necessary for health. Then Devon asks him, did your dad leave any letter for you before committing suicide? Aslan denies it. Meanwhile, Mrs. Julia sends a message to someone and gets the news about Devon not changing her surname posted. Devon is seeing this post. Aslan also sees it, which makes him angry. In all our issues, what was the need for you to do this? Then, after reading the comments under that post, Aslan gets so angry that he asks to leave from there. Coming home, Aslan looks at Devon. She has fallen asleep in the car, so he calls out to Devon to wake her up, but she doesn't get up. So Aslan puts his coat on her and leaves her there, going to the room. Mrs. Julia sees all this from her window. In the morning, Aslan wakes up and is sitting on the sofa. Mrs. Julia brings coffee for him. Then she says, you know I love you very much. If I have to give my life for you, I won't refuse. That's why I am afraid you will suffer in your married life. Married life is not like this, where you are in the room and she is sleeping in the car. Your dad and I also had many clashes, but we never separated our beds. So Aslan says, Mom, I am not like my dad, and Devon is not like you. You know, that girl is compromising. Who would like to live with crazy people like us? So you should be thankful to her. Then he takes the coffee and goes to Devon in the car. Devon is still sleeping. He gives her coffee. Then Aslan tells the maid to bring breakfast there as well, but Devon refuses. Aslan starts getting romantic, so Devon stops him. You can't do this openly. Then they both smile and leave from there. On the other side, Yagmur tells Seylan, stay away from Attila. That man is not good. Even if he calls you, don't pick up. But we see Seylan talking to Attila via message. Meanwhile, Attila tells Ibrahim Soykan that Aslan's sister-in-law Yagmur used to work as an escort in Izmir. In the next scene, Aslan wishes his grandma a happy birthday, and she is very happy. Just then, Aslan gets a call from Isak, who tells him that some thieves have stolen from his dad's office building. Aslan gets worried and leaves for there. On the way, he meets Jihan, who gives him the keys to the study. Jihan says, "You're going there after 5 years, so take Dad's letter. What is there to be afraid of? Read it. Maybe you will understand why Dad committed suicide." Meanwhile, at home, Mrs. Hulya is getting preparations done for Grandma's birthday. Tolga tells her, "Your foundation has received a very large donation." It said, "Donation from the bride." Mrs. Hulya is shocked. On the other side, Jihan has come to Devon. Devon asks him, "How are you feeling now?" He says, "Yesterday you said that you are ready to fight for me. You are the first person in my life who has said that." Devon says, "I want to ask you about your anger yesterday. Why were you so hyper?" He says, "Because of that question of yours for which I don't have an answer. I am that son of Yusuf Soykan to whom he used to tell all his secrets. When I was 7 years old, he committed a murder in front of me and then told me to keep it a secret. In this way, from the age of 7, I became his black box." Yusuf Soykan used to say that a man should not cry, but he himself used to drink and cry a lot in front of me, perhaps due to the guilt of his crimes. Once he was about to shoot himself by putting his gun to his head, so I stopped him and said, "Don't do this. I love you very much." Then he put the gun away and fell asleep after drinking. Mom and Aslan used to be angry with me for not telling them Dad's secrets. Maybe if I had told them all this, Dad wouldn't have committed suicide. We all would have helped Yusuf Soykan together. Then one day, Dad drank a lot. I thought he had slept, but he wrote letters in our names and then committed suicide. On the other side, we see Aslan outside his dad's study. Meanwhile, Jihan says, Aslan hasn't opened Dad's letter even after 5 years. He is a mom's boy, so he is very smart. Smarter than Dad. But smart people, unfortunately, are a bit cowardly. Meanwhile, he goes inside his dad's study. In the room, he still sees the marks of his blood on the ceiling and starts crying and drinking. Then he takes out his dad's letter from the safe. Jihan says, "Dad had forbidden me from many things in the letter, but I didn't stop doing them. He told me not to drink. I drink more. He told me to start my family, but I couldn't do that either." Jihan starts crying. Devon says, "This crying is good for you because if you don't cry, this sorrow will create deep wounds in your heart. A person's soul hurts more than their body. Therefore, you don't have to run from your feelings, but accept them. This courage will lighten your soul and heart." Over there, Aslan is driving the car with that letter. In the next scene, Devon's mom receives gifts from Mrs. Hulya. Seeing this, Devon starts fighting with her mom. "That woman's purpose is only to insult us. That's why she sent all this to you." But Devon's mom says, "You have become very ungrateful. After marriage, those people care for you so much and you think like this about them." Then she tells her about Mrs. Hulya's matter of not changing Devon's surname, which leaves Devon shocked that Mrs. Hulya knows about tomorrow when that news was posted at night. On the other side, Aslan stops the car somewhere and sees his dad sitting behind him. Then Aslan, crying, burns his dad's letter. At home, Jihan also comes to wish Grandma on her birthday. Devon goes to the kitchen to talk to Mrs. Hulya and asks her, "You leaked the news of me not changing my surname, right? Then you sent my mom your old things, that too by coincidence to my office." Mrs. Hulya says, "Think before you speak. You are blaming me. Remember your limit." Devon says, "I know my limits, but you don't. I told you not to interfere in my matters." Mrs. Hulya says, "Your mom was right about you, that you grew up without a father, that's why you are so arrogant." They both are arguing when Aslan comes into the kitchen. He is shocked to see Devon and goes out and sits at the dinner table. Devon also follows him and sits in her chair. Grandma asks Aslan, "Why hasn't your dad come yet?" Aslan says, "My dad will not come." He says, "There are 5 stages of grief. For example, if you are in denial, then I am like you too. Therefore, we need to come out of our grief to face our fears. I am in denial, and what will happen after this? Anger." Devon is about to say something when Aslan says, "You have not come into this house as a psychologist, you have come as a daughter-in-law. Therefore, you will have to apologize to my family for the rudeness you were showing in the kitchen." Along with Devon, everyone else is also in shock. Just then, Grandma's health deteriorates, so everyone starts taking care of her. After this, we see Aslan putting his dad's letter, which he was about to burn in the previous scene but didn't, in the locker. Just then, Mrs. Hulya comes there. She explains to him, "You should correct your behavior with Devon." But Aslan says, "Mom, don't make a fool of me. You are the one who made Devon crazy. Whatever happened downstairs has nothing to do with you. We will fix what happened between us ourselves." Aslan goes to his room, and there Devon is packing. Aslan asks her, "Where are you going because of a small fight?" So Devon says, "You have told me that I have no one of my own in this house, so I will not stay here anymore." Aslan says, "If you leave from here, you won't have the option to come back." Devon still leaves from there. Then we are shown a scene from 2 weeks later, when Yagmur tells Devon that Aslan is returning from his Romania tour today. But Devon doesn't react at all. She was also going to the office today after coming from his house because she had taken leave from the clinic due to stress. Meanwhile, we see that Yagmur has also hidden the matter of being an escort in Izmir from Devon. A man from there is searching for her everywhere here, so she is quite worried. On the other side, Aslan's uncle tells Mrs. Hulya that Yagmur used to work as an escort in Izmir. If anyone finds out about this, our family will be greatly defamed. He also tells Mrs. Hulya about Seylan going to parties with Yagmur. Mrs. Hulya asks her uncle to bring evidence against Yagmur. In the next scene, we see Seylan getting quite close with Attila. He asks Seylan about Yagmur. Where does she live? She says she lives with Devon at her house. Just then, Seylan gets a call from her mom, so she says bye to Attila and leaves from there. After she leaves, Attila calls someone and asks them to find out Devon's home address. In the next scene, Devon gets a call from her mom's neighbor that her mom has not come out of the house for many days, so Devon gets worried and starts going to her house. Reaching there, she calls out to her mom a lot, rings the bell too, but her mom doesn't come out. Just then, Aslan also reaches there. He pushes the door hard and opens it. Inside, Devon's mom is watching TV. Devon asks, "Didn't you hear the bell?" So she says, "No, I didn't hear it. I was watching TV, so maybe I didn't notice." She asks Aslan to sit, but Aslan, after seeing that she's fine, starts to leave from there. Devon comes after him, where that same neighbor is talking to Aslan. Devon sees Aslan giving that man money. That day, that neighbor had also told Aslan about her dad selling the house. Then she asks Aslan about this. So he says, "Yes, I did it because it was necessary to do so." Then he leaves from there. Meanwhile, at home, Mrs. Hulya is scolding Seylan. "How can you go to parties by lying to me?" Then she also forbids her from meeting Yagmur. Seylan angrily leaves from there. In the next scene, Layla calls Devon to meet. Then we see them both in a cafe. There, Layla tells Devon about her lover. "He just wanted to live with me, but I couldn't even do that because I was not brave like you. I have not seen a brave girl like you in the whole world. You have only one enemy, and that is you yourself. Therefore, you will have to fight for your relationship with Aslan." Devon starts smiling. In the next scene, we see Aslan lying sad at his guest house. He is missing Devon a lot. Then Devon says bye to Layla and comes to Aslan's house. At first, they have a big fight. In the end, they kiss each other. Then we are shown a scene from the next morning. Aslan has made a nice breakfast for Devon. Then they have breakfast together. Then Aslan gets a message. So he tells Devon, "We will meet again here at night. Right now, I have to go somewhere urgently." Then he tells Devon to have a good breakfast and leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Layla in the hospital. There, after her checkup, the doctor tells her about a serious disease. Only medication is its treatment. Hearing this, Layla gets very upset. Meanwhile, Aslan's uncle calls Mrs. Hulya and asks her to come and meet. When Layla comes home, Grandma is cutting cloth with scissors in her hand and says, "This is not my house." She doesn't let anyone come near her. Layla gets worried and calls Aslan. Then Aslan calls Devon and tells her about Grandma. She also starts going there. Meanwhile, Jihan wants to meet Devon, but he is unable to contact her, so he goes out to find Devon's house. On the other side, the uncle gives Mrs. Hulya a video and some evidence against Yagmur, which shocks Mrs. Hulya. Then Aslan comes to the mansion with Devon, where Devon is trying to calm Grandma down. Grandma is repeatedly talking about going to Yusuf. Just then, Mrs. Hulya also comes home. Devon somehow calms Grandma down by showing her their photo album, which makes everyone happy. Then, Mrs. Hulya takes Aslan with her. She tells him everything about Yagmur. Devon also comes after them, so she also hears everything. Meanwhile, Yagmur is going somewhere when the man who was following her catches her and starts beating her. Just then, Jihan comes there, and that man runs away from there. Yagmur is lying on the ground. On the other side, Mrs. Hulya asks Devon, "Did Yagmur work as an escort? Did you know about this?" Hearing this, Devon is shocked. Aslan tells Mrs. Hulya to be quiet. Meanwhile, Jihan is taking Yagmur to the hospital. He also calls Devon. When she doesn't pick up the call from his number, Jihan calls her from Yagmur's number and tells her the whole situation and asks her to come to the hospital. Devon comes there with Aslan. She starts crying seeing Yagmur's condition. Aslan calms her down. On the other side, Mrs. Hulya finds out that Jihan had brought Yagmur to the hospital, so she tells him to keep his mouth shut and get the records deleted because the one who hit Yagmur was the son of Aslan's business partner. Then we see a scene from 1 week later. Aslan tells Devon, what happened with Yagmur is not an accident. There must be a purpose behind it. Only Yagmur can tell this, or the criminal. Yagmur's condition is better now, but she is not talking much due to the trauma. Devon tells Aslan, if the criminal is found, you will do nothing. The police will handle everything with him. But Aslan says, the police will let him go. There is no justice here. Then Iskoç calls Aslan and tells him, we have found footage from a corner in which that man can be seen running. Then when Aslan sees that man, he is shocked. Then Iskoç says that Yagmur's friend, İrem, had said some things against this man in Izmir. Then, after some time, İrem dies due to an overdose. The place where her dead body is found belongs to this man. This was a 6-month-old case that was closed due to lack of evidence. Yagmur used to say everywhere that this man did it, so this man was after Yagmur. Now Aslan asks Devon, does a person like this deserve to live? Devon says, I just want the police to punish this man, not for you to do anything. But Aslan does not agree to this. On the other side, Mrs. Hulya tells Jihan, you send this man abroad, otherwise I will tell Aslan about your sessions with Devon. In the next scene, Aslan calls that man to a place on the pretext of a business meeting. Aslan tells him, my problem is my wife, whom I love very much. In many matters, we are opposites of each other, but she will get used to it soon. Then the police come there and arrest that man because this was his plan. In the next scene, Mrs. Hulya tells Jihan, you will have to make that man escape from jail and send him abroad somewhere because if Aslan kills him, those people will kill Aslan. Next, we see Jihan, who takes that man from jail with him. Then Devon is called and told that the man has been released. Devon tells Aslan, your mom has done this. Why are you silent? So Aslan says, that's why I asked you before. Are people like this worthy of living? Devon quietly leaves from there. Meanwhile, Jihan remembers his conversation with Aslan when Aslan had asked him, ignoring cruelty is a betrayal to the oppressed. These are our dad's words, right? Jihan says yes. So Aslan says, when I reminded mom of these words, she said, you have remembered your dad's words, well done. Mom was the one who told you to delete that footage, right? But you deliberately left the corner footage so that we could find out about that man. So what are you going to do next? Are we going to fight again? So Jihan says, what's your idea? Then Jihan starts smiling. Now in the present, Jihan takes that man to a boat in the sea. Aslan's men are there, who start beating that man. Then they throw him into the sea after beating him. But Turgut makes a mistake. He messages his lawyer from that man's mobile, I am on my way, because his lawyer's call was coming. When Jihan sees this, he scolds him, you are a very big idiot. Meanwhile, the lawyer understands from this message that this is not the same man because the lawyer had told that man, when you reach the other side of the Black Sea, reply to my message that the sea is clear so that I will understand that you have reached safely. Therefore, the lawyer gets worried. Then Jihan calls the lawyer, who asks him about that man. Have you murdered him? Now his father, Ilyas, will not spare either of us. Jihan calms him down, but he is very scared. Then Jihan comes to Aslan and explains the whole situation. Jihan tells him, I have sent that man's body to Thailand, but we will have to make a deal with the lawyer. While he is talking to Jihan, Devon overhears their conversation. Jihan tells Aslan, if Ilyas finds out that we did all this, we will have a fight, which will make our whole family suffer. Then Jihan gets a call from Mrs. Hulya, so Aslan tells him, tell mom that you have sent that man from here. Just then, he sees Devon, so he goes after her. Devon is very worried about Jihan's words. Aslan tells her not to think too much. Devon says, how dangerous is that Ilyas? Aslan comforts her. Nothing will happen, you relax. Then, when Yagmur comes, Aslan tells her, we are shifting to the mansion, so pack your things. The next day, everyone shifts to the mansion, where Mrs. Hulya gets very angry seeing Yagmur. Because of which Devon tells her, we had to come here because of you. If you hadn't gotten that man released, he wouldn't have been killed. Hearing this, Mrs. Hulya asks Aslan about it. So Aslan says, yes, he is dead. Someone comes and attacks my sister-in-law and I say nothing to him? That can't happen. Mrs. Hulya says, now Ilyas will not sit quiet. He can kill you too. But Aslan says, I am not afraid of anyone. Yagmur and Devon are my family. Protecting them is my first priority. Then Mrs. Hulya gets angry at Jihan. So he says, don't you worry. If anyone in your family is killed, it will be me, not Aslan. Meanwhile, we see Tolga's girlfriend blackmailing him with some video of his, which is why he was very worried. She demands a very large amount, which Tolga did not have. On the other side, Jihan reaches that man's lawyer and tells Aslan, I have found the location, you come too. Then they both make a deal with the lawyer that you will not tell Ilyas anything about his son. We will get you out of here. His wife is very scared. Aslan explains a lot to both of them. Meanwhile, Mrs. Hulya goes to Ibrahim and asks him to kill that lawyer. Aslan tells that lawyer, Ilyas is more dangerous than us. He will kill both you and your wife. Therefore, Aslan asks him to sign a contract. I will send you both to a place where no one will be able to find you. In the next scene, Devon sees that her chair is not at the dining table, so she asks the maid to bring her chair. Just then, Mrs. Hulya comes there. Devon asks to talk to her. Mrs. Hulya asks, "Do you know what made you a part of that family?" Devon says no. So, Mrs. Hulya says, "Crime. Only a crime partner can sit in this chair." Devon says, "But I haven't committed any crime. A man beat my sister so much that he put her in a near-death condition. I got him arrested by the police so that he could be punished, but in the end, he was released." Mrs. Hulya says, "This is not the end, it's the beginning. What surety do you have that the murder of that man will not be known? And that lawyer and his wife. When Elias finds out about his son's murder, both that lawyer and his wife will be killed." Devon says, "What is this logic?" So she says, "This is not logic, it's experience. Whatever I'm doing, I am doing to protect my family. Can you do that?" She says, "Always me." Just then, Aslan comes there. He tells Mrs. Hulya, "What are you talking about?" Devon says, "She is saying that Ilyas will kill that lawyer and his wife." Aslan says, "No, nothing like that will happen. We are sending the lawyer and his wife from here tomorrow." But Devon is now worried. Aslan says, "I promise you, nothing like that will happen. You relax." Devon says, "I don't want to lose you and Yagmur, that's why I am worried." Aslan tells her, "It won't happen. Forget what Mom said." In the next scene, we see Tolga talking to Ibrahim on the phone. He asks him for money to give to his girlfriend, but he says, "For this, you will have to give me updates about Aslan. Tell me where that lawyer is, and I will give you the money." Tolga is afraid of Aslan, so he refuses. In the next scene, Aslan is having a barbecue at home. The dining table is set outside, but Mrs. Hulya sends Yagmur's food to her room. She cannot eat sitting with us. When Devon and Aslan find out about this, Devon argues with Mrs. Hulya. "You can't do this. She is my sister." Meanwhile, Aslan goes and brings Yagmur out of the room. He comes to the table and says, "Yagmur is our family, so whoever has an objection can talk to me directly." Then he asks Yagmur to sit with Devon. After this, they all enjoy the meal. In the next scene, Devon is out hanging out with her friends and Aslan. She sees some suspicious people there. She feels it, but she ignores it. Just then, Aslan gets a call from someone and goes to the side. When he is late in coming, Devon goes after him. She doesn't see him anywhere. She sees that the suspicious people who were in the car are also not there. Just then, Aslan comes from the front, and Devon hugs him. On the other side, when Tolga doesn't get money from anywhere, he starts taking out Kaya's gold items from the safe in his room. Just then, Layla's eyes open. Seeing him doing this, she throws him out of the room. Meanwhile, we see Devon, who is very upset. Coming home, she asks Aslan, "Where did you go saying you were taking a phone call?" Aslan says, "I was in the cafe next door." But Devon doesn't believe him. She tells him that there were some people following us, but when I went to look for you, those people were not in the car. Aslan says, "What do you mean? I hit them?" Devon says, "Then what happened to your hand?" Aslan says, "This mark is from the barbecue. What did you think? I fought with those people? It's nothing like that. You are taking too much stress." Then when Devon is sleeping, her eyes open. She goes outside and sees Aslan and Yagmur sitting on the dining chairs. Both have been shot. Then she sees Ilyas there, who also shoots Devon, which makes Devon start to scream. Her eyes open, meaning it was a dream. Then she sees Aslan sleeping close to her and gets up and goes outside. After some time, Aslan's eyes open, and he doesn't see Devon in the room, so he goes outside to look for her. He sees her sitting on the kitchen floor playing a video game. Aslan also sits next to her. Then Devon tells him about her dream. "I saw Ilyas in my dream." Then she asks, "Will something happen to the lawyer and his wife?" Aslan says, "No, their passports have arrived. Tomorrow, we will send them both from the border. Then no one will be able to find them." Then, while going to their room, Aslan sees Tolga sleeping on the sofa outside. The next day, Jihan calls that lawyer and his wife to a place for a meeting. He knew that Mrs. Hulya and uncle would definitely follow them, so he gives them a wrong signal. Then, after the lawyer and his wife arrive, he gives them their passports and sends them from there. When the uncle and his men reach that direction, their men are tied up there, from which they understand that this was a trap. Actually, the people who were following Aslan last night, that's why Aslan deliberately sent a wrong signal to the uncle from their phone. Meanwhile, we see Tolga, who had overheard Aslan and Devon's conversation at night, so he tells his uncle where the lawyer would be. In the next scene, Jihan comes to the clinic to meet Devon. He says to Devon, "Please accept my condolences because we have lost the real Devon." Devon asks, "What do you mean?" So he says, Aslan had said that when someone dies, there are 5 stages of grieving. The first stage is negation, which is when the mind's defense mechanism stops working and you start walking around saying, "I didn't do this." You have passed through this stage. Devon remembers something and accepts it. Jihan says, "Then a person feels like they are burning themselves with a fire." The second stage is anger. Devon remembers some past scenes where the same things had happened. Jihan says, the third stage is bargain. When Ilyas finds out about everything, then your husband might die, or your sister. Devon remembers that she had the same conversation with Mrs. Julia. Jihan says, then depression, which she is going through. Jihan says, then you are at the last stage, which is acceptance, meaning you have now become a full soykan. Then Devon asks, did you come here to say this? He says, no, you relax. Neither Aslan nor Yagmur will die. If such a time comes, I will die first. I came to say this. Meanwhile, we see the lawyer at the border. The driver stops the car to eat something. They go to a petrol station. Just then, the lawyer gets a call from Ilyas. He feels something there. He looks around. Just then, Ibrahim comes and shoots him. His wife is screaming. After this, we see Ilyas. He calls Ati and asks about his son. Ati doesn't tell him anything directly, just asks them to come to their hometown. The next day, we see that there is some function for Layla's son, Kaya, at the mansion, so a lot of preparations are made. The whole family is taking videos and pictures together. Just then, Iskoç comes and tells Aslan that Ilyas is coming here, so Aslan sends the whole family inside the house. In the next scene, we see everyone talking to Ilyas. He meets Aslan and everyone very well. Devon is also there. She introduces herself, I am Aslan's wife. So Ilyas shakes her hand. Then he gives Kaya a gift, which is a gold watch. Then we see Ilyas putting that watch on Kaya. Layla thanks them. Then he tells Aslan that he will meet him tomorrow and starts to leave. Just then, seeing Yagmur standing at the door, he asks, who is this? So Devon says, this is my sister. Next, we see Mrs. Julia asking Ibrahim, did you kill the lawyer's wife or not? It shouldn't be that she joins hands with Ilyas and creates problems for us. Then we see a flashback scene where the lawyer's wife is requesting Ibrahim to let her go. In the present, Ibrahim tells Mrs. Julia that he has killed her too. In the next scene, we see Mrs. Julia and Aslan talking, where Aslan says, how many times have I told you in 5 years not to interfere in my matters? But you don't understand my words. If I were an orphan, I would have told Ilyas the truth that I murdered his shameless son. But I am not an orphan. I have a family that I have to protect, so don't force the lion to come out of the cage. Then the end of this story will not be good. Mrs. Julia says, you have married the wrong girl. That is the reason why we all are in this problem. Aslan says, I am telling you for the last time, don't say anything about my marriage. Then when Aslan goes to Devon, she tells him, I feel like I have also become a soykan while living with your family. When I heard Ilyas's name, I should have been scared like normal people, but no, I went and met him face to face. This means that I am not like normal people anymore. The next day, Ilyas messages Aslan to invite him for lunch today. Aslan also accepts without showing anything. In the next scene, we see Aslan at Ilyas's house. Ilyas says, Aslan is my nephew, so he can't harm me. Let him come inside. Then at the dining table, Ilyas says, my mom was saying that Aslan will eat fresh food, which I will prepare for him. Then Aslan asks him, why have you called me here? So Ilyas says, I am worried about my son. You and he are like brothers. Am I right? Aslan says, no, I will tell you the sad truth. I don't like your son, Serhat. On the other side, Devon's dad gets her mom to sign the house papers by tricking her. Today, he kicks them out of the house. So Devon comes to her mom. Her mom says, that man tricked me into signing. Then Devon starts arguing with her dad. You will not do anything like this or else I will do to you what you can't even imagine. Her dad says, look at yourself. You have become a mafia like your husband. Then Devon tells him that she will talk to him in court and tells her mom, you pack your things. You will come to the mansion with me. Meanwhile, Ilyas tells Aslan, I feel something has happened to Serhat because I have received many messages from him from Thailand. He didn't even talk to me out of fear. His lawyer is also missing. I asked Attila, but he also doesn't know anything about Serhat. Aslan says, what do you want to ask me? So Ilyas says, my dad used to drink a lot and beat my mom. One day, I sat in front of him and asked him, will you drink again and beat mom? He said no. Then the next evening, he drank and wanted to raise his hand on mom again, so I killed him with a knife. Since then, I don't argue with anyone, I take direct action. Then he serves food to Aslan. In the next scene, we see Mrs. Julia with Ibrahim. She asks him, tell me the truth, the lawyer's wife is alive, right? Now Ibrahim also gets irritated and says, yes, I have never murdered any woman, but that woman will not create any problem for us. So Mrs. Julia says, I have to meet that woman. Only then will I trust your words. In the next scene, Aslan goes to talk to Attila so that he doesn't tell Ilyas about Serhat's murder. Attila sets 3 conditions. You will get my channel from Ibrahim. I will need a heavy amount of money for this. And third, you will never come to my house. Aslan doesn't agree to any of his conditions. He says, my dad had strangled a bear with his own hands. He was the one who named me Aslan. So you should try to keep the lion inside me inside the cage, or else if this lion sees you as a deer, he will tear you to pieces. Then, while going back, he plans with his companions that now we have to find some incident of Attila and Serhat in which they are against each other so that we can focus Ilyas's attention on Attila, that he is the one who killed Serhat, due to which Attila will be killed by Ilyas. In the next scene, we see Aslan with all the family members at the dining table, where Layla tells Mrs. Hulya, "I need to discuss something with you." On the other side, Iskoç has gone to Ilyas with Turgut. He shows him the video in which Attila and Serhat are both fighting in Attila's office. While at home, Layla tells everyone, "I don't want to be in a relationship with Tolga anymore. I want to divorce him." Everyone is shocked. "I have been tolerating this man for 17 years. Now my patience has ended." Mrs. Hulya starts arguing with her, so Layla leaves from there crying, saying, "You people can never support me." Devon also goes after her and hugs her to comfort her. Then we see Mrs. Hulya and Devon talking. Mrs. Hulya says, "Because of the evil spirit of you and your family, this is the condition of my house." Devon says, "Speak openly. What do you want to say?" So she says, "I want you to leave my house and my son and go away from here." Devon, smiling, says, "I am not going anywhere. Do whatever you can." So Mrs. Hulya says, "You think you are Hulya Soykan? No one can become a Soykan until they pay the price for it." Devon says, "Do whatever you want to do." Meanwhile, Ilyas is shocked to see that video. In the next scene, Aslan has brought Devon and Layla out to spend time, where these three break bottles by shooting them with guns. There, Layla asks Aslan, "If Dad were with us today, what do you think he would have reacted to my decision?" Aslan says, "I think he would have supported you." Layla says, "I don't think so. He didn't even leave a letter for me before committing suicide." So Aslan says, "Maybe he trusted you and not us. That's why he wrote letters for us that would have wounded our souls too." Layla asks, "Did you open the letter?" He says, "No, but what do you think? I wouldn't know what he would have written. If Dad were alive and saw me fixing things like this, he would have definitely spit on my face." In the next scene, Aslan tells Tolga, "Be thankful that father is not alive. If he were alive, he would not have let the person who cheated on his daughter live. I am leaving you alive because you are the father of my nephews. So take this money and solve your problems." Then he makes him sign some papers. In the next scene, Seylan finds out that Mrs. Hulya is keeping an eye on her accounts, and her phone data is also being copied. So she goes and talks to her, which leads to a big argument between them. Seylan then locks herself in the room. Seylan, in anger, takes the drug given by Attila, which makes her condition worse. Yagmur repeatedly asks her to unlock the door. Then she hears the sound of falling and runs outside. Then everyone breaks the other door and sees that Seylan is lying unconscious. Layla picks her up and makes her vomit. Seylan says, "I am feeling very cold." After this, Mrs. Hulya also comes. She says to Yagmur, "You gave her the drug." Then Aslan also comes there with Devon. He talks to Seylan alone. He asks her, "Who gave you this drug medicine?" Just then, he also finds the medicine lying on the table in front. So Seylan says, "He is your friend." Seylan takes Attila's name, which shocks Aslan. Then he stands in front of the mirror and says, "I don't want to become like my dad." Just then, Grandma comes and says, "Yusuf, you have come." Aslan, crying, hugs Grandma. He says, "Now I will not leave you and go." In the next scene, Aslan takes out his dad's letter from the locker. On the other side, Ilyas's companion brings a picture and sees that Serhat has been spending time with that girl. Ilyas is shocked to see the picture because she is Aslan's sister-in-law. In the next scene, Mrs. Hulya says to Devon, "I know about the sessions you take with Jihan. If I had told Aslan." So Devon says, "Oh, so you knew this for a long time? You didn't use it because you wanted to use it at a special time. But I am not afraid of anyone because I have not done anything wrong. I have only helped his soul to heal, which was wounded by his own mother." In the next scene, Aslan's companions knock out all the guards of Attila's house one by one. Then they damage the lights of that house, due to which Attila comes out of the house. Just then, he sees Aslan, who shows him the drug medicine. So Attila says, "Seylan is like my sister to me." But Aslan doesn't listen to his words. He beats him so much that Attila dies. Then he takes out his dad's letter, in which it was written, "I have treated people as if I had no heart. I have ended myself. Now I trust you to get out of this mess and deal with these matters. Don't become like me. Don't put any stain on yourself or your heart. Son, I love you very much. Never forget this." Aslan then starts crying. On the other side, we see Mrs. Hulya, who shows Devon a video of the lawyer's wife, in which she is very scared. Devon gets upset seeing this. Meanwhile, Aslan takes Attila's dead body to his house and sets the house on fire. Mrs. Hulya tells Devon, I used to be in the same condition at the beginning. Aslan's dad used to say that if you want to live with me, your nerves should be strong. He sometimes wouldn't come home for months. I would find out about him in the news. I would be happy that he was alive. When the police came and asked me about him, I had to lie to save him, which was very difficult for me at the beginning. When I saw you at the beginning, I thought you wouldn't be able to hide the truth. But now I don't think so because you have changed a lot. In the next scene, Aslan calls Ilyas and tells him, Attila will never come to meet you again, so don't wait for him. We will meet tomorrow. I will tell you everything truthfully. The next morning, all the family members are watching the news of Attila's murder. Just then, Aslan comes home. His condition is bad. Devon goes after him to the room. On the way, Aslan meets Grandma, who is happy to see him, thinking he is Yusuf. Going into the room, Devon asks Aslan, Did you do all this? He says, Yes. I couldn't keep the promises I made to you. I regret it. I love you very much, so I request you to leave me and go. The man you married is dead. I can't leave you, so you go. Devon says, Aslan, where can I go leaving you? I can't live without you either. Both start crying. The next day, Aslan receives a location from Ilyas. He has called Aslan to meet at the aquarium. Then Aslan tells all the family members to stay at home and leaves from there. Then Mrs. Hulya tells Devon, Because of your sister, this is the condition of my house. Devon says, Mrs. Hulya, I am already very worried. Don't add to it. So Mrs. Hulya asks, Now what will you do? Your hands are as dirty as ours. Another man died today. So what will you do to save your husband? In the next scene, Devon's mom tells her that Yagmur has left the house. I have searched for her all over the house, but I couldn't find her anywhere. Then, Devon starts to go look for her. Just then, she sees Mrs. Hulya going out, so she drives her car and goes out. Meanwhile, Aslan is watching the sharks with Ilyas in the aquarium. He says, Your son murdered a woman and also tried to kill my sister-in-law, so I had to punish him. Ilyas says, If you had told me all this, I would have punished my son myself. Meanwhile, Devon and Mrs. Hulya's car is being followed by Ilyas's man, Gökhan. He was trying to damage the car in some way. On the other side, Aslan tells Ilyas, I have come here so that either you kill me or I will kill you. Ilyas says, It won't be that easy. I have lost my son. I have nothing to lose, but you have a whole family. You have shed our blood. Now we will shed your blood. You will not find peace anywhere now. One by one, you will carry everyone's coffins. Your shoulders will not be able to bear this burden. Aslan says, I will take your life before that. Coming out, Aslan tells his men, Now we will fight without rules. Put your informers behind Ilyas. Turgut says, That man has bought all the places around his house because his mother doesn't go out of the house, so it will be a little difficult to hire an informer. Everyone is afraid of Ilyas. Then Iskok tells about a man who can do this job. In the next scene, Ekrem tells Mrs. Hulya that Yagmur has been found, that she is at Devon's house. Mrs. Hulya tells him to stay there with Yagmur. In the next scene, we see Jihan with his girlfriend. They have both come to the hospital for an ultrasound because Jihan's girlfriend is pregnant. In the next scene, Mrs. Hulya goes with Ibrahim to make a deal with Ilyas. There, Ibrahim says, Our matters also have some rules. The elder son did a wrong thing. So Ilyas says, You shouldn't talk about rules. Come, I'll remind you of something. Once, a man didn't give us our money, so you and Yusuf went to his house where you killed that man. But that man's wife was there, who was pregnant. So we brought her to the mansion, where that lady gave birth to a child. Then we had to kill that woman. Your hands were trembling, but Yusuf's hands didn't tremble. He murdered this woman. So don't talk about rules. There are no rules in our families. Then he says to Mrs. Hulya, I respect you a lot, so I am giving you an option. I have lost my son, so you will have to lose your son too. The choice is yours, whether you choose the adopted child or the real one, Jihan or Aslan. Think about it and tell me. In the next scene, Aslan and Jihan come to Grandma. Grandma says to Jihan, You missed your dad a lot, didn't you? See, he has come. Aslan tells her to show this to Jihan. So Jihan says to Aslan, Yes, Dad, I missed you a lot. Welcome home. Grandma says, Jihan, kiss your dad's hand. Aslan extends his hand towards Jihan. Jihan smiles and hugs Aslan. Meanwhile, seeing them both together, Mrs. Hulya thinks, Whom should I choose? In the next scene, we see everyone eating together. Grandma says to Aslan, Yusuf, son, we missed you a lot. Were you okay there? So Aslan says, Yes, mother, I am absolutely fine. I also missed you a lot. Then Jihan says, Dad, I have to tell you something. I am going to become a dad very soon. Everyone there is shocked. Jihan says to Mrs. Hulya, I know you don't want a child from Isel, but I want to feel this life, so I am very happy. So Mrs. Hulya says, May you be blessed to see this day, Amin. Then everyone congratulates Jihan. In the next scene, Jihan is in the car with Aslan. He tells him, I have read Dad's letter. So Jihan asks, What did he write? Aslan says, He wrote to do all the legal work, but now it's too late. Then he asks Jihan to take care of himself. Meanwhile, we see Mrs. Hulya arguing with Devon. Actually, everyone had to give their statement to the police tomorrow. Devon didn't want to lie, so she was very upset. Just then, Aslan comes and calms Mrs. Hulya down. Then he goes to Devon. Devon shouts a lot at Aslan and then locks herself in the bathroom. She vomits due to drinking too much. Then she lies there and starts crying. Aslan is sitting outside the bathroom. After thinking for a long time, Devon says, I have decided. I will leave you and go. I can't survive in such conditions. Aslan says, you have decided correctly. The next day, some officers come for investigation. Everyone follows the lawyer's instructions and gives their statements. Only Devon is in her room. Everyone else is outside. In the end, the commissioner asks about Devon. Just then, Devon also comes there. Then she answers all the questions according to her script. After they leave, everyone prepares to go to the cemetery because today is Yusuf's death anniversary. Mrs. Hulya remembers that Yusuf had told her before his death, Hulya, don't let my children be hanged. I entrust my children to you after Almighty Allah. Protect them. Never differentiate between Aslan and Jihan. They are both my sons. In the present, Mrs. Hulya calls Ilyas and says, I have decided, neither Jihan nor Aslan, but I entrust my children to my Allah. After this, everyone leaves to go to the cemetery, where we see a car in which a bomb has been planted. In the next scene, we see that the car that was hit by Gökhan that day was in the workshop, so Gökhan plants a bomb in it there. As soon as they are about to leave the cemetery, Aslan finds out about this. He tells everyone to move away from that car. Jihan and his wife are near that car. Just then, the bomb explodes, due to which Jihan's girlfriend is seriously injured. Then we see a hospital scene where Jihan is comforting his girlfriend. You will be fine. She is taken to the operation theater. Everyone else is also injured, so they are getting their treatment. Then Aslan tells his companions that we have to kill Ilyas as soon as possible. In the next scene, Devon is standing outside the hospital. Just then, Aslan comes to her and hugs her. Devon says, I can't leave you. I have thought about it a lot, but still, I can't do it. Aslan apologizes to her. I couldn't protect you. This is my fault. Just then, Mrs. Hulya comes there and asks Aslan, are you okay? So he asks, why did you go to meet Ilyas? So she says, I want to protect my family, my children. In the next scene, Devon is going to the mansion with Yagmur and Ekrem, so Ilyas follows her car with one of his men. Meanwhile, Turgut and Iskok are behind Gökhan. Then from the front, Aslan stops Gökhan. He looks behind, and Jihan is behind him. Jihan tells him, your enmity is with us, so why are you bringing the family into it? I was about to become a father, but now I have become a nothing because of you people. Then he kills him. Meanwhile, Devon understands that a car is following me, so she goes ahead and stops the car at a place where police officers are standing and gets out. Ekrem stops her from doing this, but she goes and stands in front of Ilyas. Seeing the officers, Ilyas tells Devon, tell Hulya that time is over, and leaves from there. Then she gets a call from the hospital, in which she is told that her reports are fine, but she is pregnant. Devon is shocked by this news. Meanwhile, Ilyas tells his companion, Aslan's wife is very brave, just like Hulya. We thought she would be weak, but it's not like that. So approach the weak people in Aslan's family. Meanwhile, we see one of Ilyas's men with Ibrahim. He offers him to join them. He says, now the Soykan family is going to be destroyed, so you should join us. Ibrahim asks him for time to think. They also call Tolga and make the same offer and tempt him with money and ask him to think and reply. In the next scene, Devon is sitting very depressed. Just then, Aslan comes and hugs her. He asks her to sleep for a while, but Devon tells him, I have to tell you something. You and I have to make a decision. She is about to tell him about her pregnancy when the sound of firing comes from outside. Then Aslan tells everyone to go to the poolside. There, Aslan sees a helicopter in the sky, which kills their informer and throws him down from the helicopter, which shocks everyone. In the next scene, Mrs. Hulya comes to Aslan and starts fighting with him. This is all happening because of you. I had already told you that the war would start, but you didn't listen to a single word of mine. I went against the whole world for you, but look at the state you have brought my family to. This is all your curse. Then she sees Devon inside and tells her, this is happening because of you and your husband. I am having to lose my son. What do you know about the pain of losing a son? Because you are not a mother yet. Devon says, I understand. I see it every day in this house. After this, Mrs. Hulya talks to Ilyas and tells him her decision. Ilyas, hearing her decision, says, Yusuf always used to say that no one should ever be separated, but you have chosen one. But don't be upset. Your decision is right. Now I will kill the one you have chosen, and this war will end. In the next scene, we see Aslan getting some things loaded. His intention was to attack Ilyas's area. Meanwhile, Ibrahim tells his decision to Ilyas's man, I am with you. So he gives him a car tracking device. Ibrahim asks, in which car should I put this? So he says, Mrs. Hulya has chosen one son. Ibrahim asks, whom has she chosen? In the next scene, we see Jihan, whose girlfriend and child have died, so he is sitting sad. On the other side, Aslan brings breakfast for Devon and apologizes to her. Our plan was to have an indoor breakfast with everyone, but there is a lot of wind outside and the roof is broken. Devon starts smiling. So Aslan says, many people in this country spend their whole lives to live this moment. Then he gives her a sandwich to eat. This is very special. Devon asks, now what will happen next? So Aslan says, I don't know about you, but my love for you is increasing every day. My dream was of such a peaceful and quiet death. Whether it's 70 years or 7 days, I want to enjoy every moment with you. Then they both spend a very good time. Just then, Aslan gets a call from Jihan, hearing which he gets sad. After this, we see Aslan with Mrs. Hulya in the hospital. He hugs Jihan and comforts him, and makes him feel his support. In the next scene, they bring Jihan home, where everyone offers him condolences. In the next scene, we see Tolga, who is with Kaya. Just then, Kaya gets scared by the sound of some toys falling. So Layla comes and calms him down. Then Tolga comes out and calls Ilyas's man and tells him his decision. I cannot work with you people. Meanwhile, Ibrahim overhears Jihan and Aslan talking about some plan in the mansion. So he goes and tells Ilyas's man. In the next scene, we see Jihan and Aslan going somewhere. Mrs. Hulya is crying seeing them go. In the next scene, Devon is with Grandma, where Grandma tells her, Hulya, don't you remember? All this started with the arrival of that child. Devon asks, which child are you talking about? She remembers Mrs. Hulya, who was also saying the same thing to Aslan. Then Grandma says, you said then that this child came from God, but it's not like that. You chose that child for yourself. We all told you not to do this, but you did it anyway. You said, I will not be afraid even if the whole world is against you. Devon asks, which is my adopted son? Just then, we are shown a flashback scene where Mrs. Hulya had told Ilyas, I have chosen Jihan. You can take your revenge on Aslan. Just then, we see Aslan tied to a chair in front of Ilyas. Ilyas says to Aslan, I considered your dad a brother and you my nephew. So Aslan says, it would have been better if you had made your son a human being, then this time would not have come. But still, thank you. Ilyas asks, for what? Just then, we are shown a flashback scene when Ilyas had asked Mrs. Hulya whom she would choose. Then Aslan had come to them. He had told her to tell Ilyas to choose Aslan. Mrs. Hulya refuses. I don't want to choose anyone. But Aslan says, this way we can reach Ilyas. Nothing will happen to me. Here, Ilyas says, but it's too late to form a family. Aslan says, as long as you are alive, there is always a chance for this. Then we see Ibrahim in a flashback scene who had heard Aslan and Jihan's conversation. So he had come to them. He had told them the whole story about Ilyas's man and had also given them that tracking bug which Aslan had put on his car. Ibrahim says, now where will you take Ilyas? So Aslan says, Iskosh has arranged everything. Thank you very much for supporting us at that time. So Ibrahim says, we are a family, nephew. Ilyas says, if you people are a family, then there would be no secrets between you and your mom would not have sacrificed you. Aslan says, no one sacrificed me. She did not choose her son. You don't know my mom well. Ilyas says, you don't know your mom well. I didn't ask her to choose between sons, but asked whether you want the native son or the adopted one. Aslan says, what do you mean? Ilyas says, it's difficult for Hulya to say this, but you can ask Yusuf about this secret in the next world. Then he starts to fire at Aslan, but just then, Jihan comes and shoots Ilyas. After this, a fight is shown there. Meanwhile, Devon doesn't find out about the adopted son from Grandma. In the next scene, when Aslan comes home with everyone, he is slightly injured from being shot. Devon, crying, hugs him. He says, now everything is over. Then, while getting bandaged, Aslan says, we have burned that place. So Ibrahim says, then Ilyas must have also been burned alive. After this, Mrs. Hulya gets a call from Ilyas's mom. She says, your adopted son will definitely pay the price for this. Meanwhile, Aslan is trying to pacify Devon because she is angry. You left the house saying you were going to work and came back after getting shot. How long will you lie to me while looking into my eyes? Aslan says, now everything is over. So Devon says, nothing is over. Every day a new incident happens. Grandma was also saying something. Aslan asks, what? So she says, Grandma was saying that one of you is an adopted son, but she didn't say the name. Aslan smiles. Your words are making me laugh at this time. Don't take Grandma's words seriously. Last year she was saying that one of us is a Russian spy, and this year she is saying one of us is adopted. Devon says, I am tired of your secrets. She gets up and leaves. Aslan goes after her. Just then, Devon tells him, your family's condition is not suitable for raising any child. Aslan is shocked and asks her, are you pregnant? Devon says, yes. So Aslan gets happy. Devon says, there is no need to be too happy. I will not sacrifice my child for this house and your family. You people are very cruel and irresponsible. Aslan says, you have made a quick decision, but my decision is not this. She says, you will have to accept this decision because your life is uncertain. You might die. And when that child comes into this world, he will be an orphan. We thank God every day for being alive in this house, so how can we bring a child here? We will not ruin another child's life. You have to decide. Aslan says, no one here will force you for your decision. I am just asking for some time from you in which much. I will fix everything, and we will start our life again. I will prove that children can be raised in our family. Even if I can't be a good dad, I will not be a bad dad either. This is my promise to you. Devon says, as you wish, but I will not change my decision. So don't tell anyone yet. The next day, while having breakfast, Aslan thanks everyone for their support. He says, after everything that has happened, we are sitting at this table because we are a family. The bad days are over. Grandma is looking at Aslan angrily. She says, this family which you have built with the blood of the oppressed. Julia says, what are you saying, mother? Grandma says, you said you wouldn't go, but you still went. If something had happened to you, Ceylan says, Grandma, nothing happened, everything is fine. But Grandma says, you lie to everyone. Your lies and sins have brought us to this point. Aslan asks, what sin are you talking about? Mrs. Julia tells the maid to take Grandma to the room. Grandma shouts and leaves from there. On the other side, Ekrem proposes to Yagmur for marriage, which Yagmur accepts. So both are very happy. Meanwhile, Aslan asks Mrs. Julia about Grandma's words, but she denies it. There is nothing like that. Your grandma is sick. That's why she is talking like that. So Aslan says, she has said similar things to Devon that one of us is an adopted child. Aslan says, if there is such a secret, then tell us. But Mrs. Julia says there is nothing like that. Mrs. Julia goes to Grandma and says, if you talk like this, your Yusuf will leave you and go and will never come back. So Grandma says, I don't want that. So Mrs. Julia says, then next time, don't talk like this to anyone. No one should know about the adopted child. Grandma agrees. Then Aslan talks to Jihan. That day, Ilyas was also talking like this. Did Dad, in a drunken state, say anything to you about an adopted child? Jihan says, my brother, we know that our family's relations were not good in the past either. Now that we have become a family, if you want, you can get information about this, but please don't open a new Pandora's box. I don't want to lose any of you now. In the next scene, Yagmur and Ekrem tell Aslan and Devon about their relationship, that they have decided to get engaged. Both are very happy for them. In the next scene, Iskok brings a DNA report of him and Jihan to Aslan. Both their DNAs are different. Seeing this, Aslan is shocked. Meanwhile, Mrs. Julia has come to Ilyas's mother. She says to Mrs. Julia, I am burning in this revenge. You will also burn in it when everyone finds out about the adopted child and your sin. Mrs. Julia says, that will not happen. I have brought an offer for you. She shows her some photos. We have killed all your relatives, so now there is no one left to protect you. We both have done a lot for our families, and we can do more, but now I want us to work together. In the next scene, Aslan goes to Jihan's cafe. He shows Jihan that DNA report and tells him Ilyas was telling the truth. If you want, you can see this report, or else throw it away. I have come to tell you that I want to leave all this, so if you want, you can handle all this, or else uncle or mom will handle it. I want to start a new life. Jihan says, but why are you offering it to me? So Aslan says, because you are my brother. Then Jihan stands up and tears that report without reading it and says, I am not just your brother, but your elder brother. Then they both smile and hug each other. Meanwhile, Devon has come to her dad. She tells him about Yagmur's relationship, that Yagmur wants him to come to her engagement. She also tells her dad about her pregnancy, but her dad tells her to have an abortion, which makes Devon very angry. So she gets up and leaves. In the next scene, Aslan tells Mrs. Julia, Ilyas had told me that I don't know my mom well. Meanwhile, Grandma tells Devon, my son Yusuf won't leave me and go, will he? Devon asks, who told you that? So she says, that woman was saying that your son will die if I talk about the secret of the adopted child. Meanwhile, Aslan asks Mrs. Julia, Ilyas had asked you to choose between the native or adopted child. I also told you yesterday that what you are hiding from us can be our end. So I am giving you a last chance now. Meanwhile, Grandma tells Devon, you love that child very much, but I took him from you. Just then, we see a flashback in which Grandma is taking a child from Mrs. Julia and giving it to Yusuf. In the present, Mrs. Julia tells Aslan, if I have hidden something from you all, it is for the good of this family. Aslan shows them the DNA report. Meanwhile, Devon asks Grandma, what was that child's name? Just then, we see in a flashback scene, Yusuf says about that child, your name is Jihan. In the present, Grandma, crying, says, he is my Jihan. Meanwhile, Mrs. Julia, seeing the report, says, this was your dad's will, that this secret should not be told to anyone. Aslan asks Mrs. Julia, who were Jihan's mom and dad? What is his relation to our family? Mrs. Julia lies. His mom died during his delivery, and his dad ran away somewhere. Aslan says, you are still lying. Just then, Devon comes there. So Aslan tells her about Jihan being adopted too. In the next scene, Aslan is at the seaside with Devon. He thanks Devon. If you were not in my life, I would not have had the courage to face my fears, and I would not have been able to find out the truth. Now all things are clear. Every child has a hero in childhood. For some, their dad is their hero, but I did not spend much time with my dad, so my hero was my brother Jihan. From the beginning, I wanted to talk, play, and fight like him. But then such a situation arose that a great distance came between us, which made us enemies of each other. Devon asks, did you tell Jihan about this, that he is adopted? So he says, I gave him the report, but he tore it, saying, it doesn't matter to me. They both spend a good time together. On the other side, we see Jihan, who is drinking and looking at the pieces of that report. Then he puts those pieces together and reads that report, in which his DNA was different from Aslan's DNA. In the next scene, we find out that Ilyas did not die. When that building caught fire, his man had taken Ilyas out. Now he has kept Ilyas in a safe place. He takes Ilyas's mom to meet him, who is very happy to see Ilyas alive. Ilyas tells his man, now spread the fire and let the soykuns burn from within. Then his man calls Jihan. Jihan asks him, who are you? So he says, I know about your real parents. What happened to them? Do you want to know? In the next scene, we see Ilyas's man breaking Jihan's car window and leaving some documents and a pen drive. In the next scene, we see Yagmur getting ready and coming, because today was her engagement with Ekrem. Everyone there is waiting for Ekrem's parents to arrive. Just then, Yagmur's dad also arrives, whom Yagmur is happy to see. On the other side, Jihan goes home and takes out those documents and looks at them. After this, he opens that USB in the laptop, in which Ilyas and Yusuf are shown. In it, Yusuf tells Ilyas, I didn't want to do this, but you told me, and I killed that man like an idiot, and then killed his wife like a heartless person. Meanwhile, Ekrem tells Yagmur, Mrs. Hulya has told my parents about you being an escort, so they are not coming for the engagement, and I can't get engaged without them. Yagmur is shocked to hear this. Meanwhile, Devon's dad tells Mrs. Hulya that Devon is pregnant, on which Mrs. Hulya is shocked. She asks Aslan, is this true? So he says, yes, this is true. But he gets angry with Devon for telling her dad this. Meanwhile, Yusuf tells Ilyas, whenever I see Jihan, I remember his mother, whom I had killed. How will I tell Jihan that we killed his parents? Jihan, hearing all this, breaks the laptop. On the other side, Aslan is arguing with Mrs. Hulya. She says, why didn't you tell me this before? Aslan says, what difference does it make? We are both very happy with this news. Mrs. Hulya says, I am not happy. That girl doesn't fit in our family. I want you two to get a divorce. But Aslan says, that woman is my family. So Mrs. Hulya says, she is not your family. I am your family. Just then, Devon comes there. So Mrs. Hulya asks her to leave from there. Aslan says, I am leaving all this and handing it over to Jihan. Devon and I will move from the mansion and live in the city and start a new life. So Mrs. Hulya says, you want to live with this girl who has been hiding something from you for many months? Tell her, Devon. You tell him yourself about those secret sessions with Jihan in which you were with him. Aslan, hearing this, is shocked and looks at Devon. Devon starts to explain to him. So Aslan asks, is this true? So she says, yes. So Aslan gets angry. How could you hide this from me? Now I don't even want to see you. He leaves from there. On the other side, we see Jihan in the mansion. He calls Jihan, I am in the mansion, you come too. Then Jihan gets a call from Mrs. Hulya. So he says, I have found out everything. You people killed my family. I am waiting for you all in the mansion. Then, while drinking, he starts looking at Yusuf's picture. In the next scene, we see Tolga, who calls Ilyas's man and tells him that Jihan has reached the mansion. Aslan is going there. I have sent you the security code. Actually, he has sided with Ilyas. Ilyas's man tells him this. So he says, good thing. Now turn it on. We will watch the movie to see if the lion hunts the jackal or the jackal eats the lion. In the next scene, we see Jihan burning all the old pictures one by one. Meanwhile, Aslan is going to the mansion, and Devon is behind him but gets stuck in a traffic jam. Jihan then starts throwing the dining table chairs here and there, breaks the table, and takes down Yusuf's picture and throws it down. Then Aslan comes there, and a fight starts between them, which Ilyas is watching with great pleasure. Then Jihan points the pistol at Aslan and says, I told you not to open Pandora's box. See what came out of it? That your father murdered my mom and dad. He then fires at Aslan. He says, that's why your dad shot himself after seeing me, because he regretted it. And you also handed everything over to me because you also had some regret about this. But this was not going to end like this. Now everything will end. Aslan says, I wanted to escape from this bad life, but that couldn't happen because you can come into this life, but you can't get out alive. So shoot me now. Jihan says, after killing you, I will kill myself too. But just then, we see that before he could kill him, Devon comes there and shoots Jihan. Just then, Mrs. Hulya also comes there, who sees both of them dead. And here the first season of this drama ends.